Okay, good morning, guys. Good morning. Welcome to our Friday weekly Ask Me Any Stock session. I think some of you have already joined us. Just type a GM for good morning, guys. If you can see and hear me loud and clear, you can see my screen, and we're live now on YouTube as well as on Facebook, right? Let me know if you can see and hear me. Let me just acknowledge all of you, right, for just being early today. And let's get started, all right? Let's get started. Good morning, Gerald. Nice. All right. Andy. Hi. John. Hi as well. Yueling. Stephen. Hi. Ching Ting as well. Good morning. Good morning. Let's see. Right. Karen. Yang Financial 1.05 can buy. Right. Let's find out later as well. Sun Wong. Good morning. Good morning. GM David as well. Okay, guys. So it seems like this is working. Hi. Good morning, Andy as well. Good morning. Good morning. Okay, good. So this is working, guys. Let's get started. Welcome to our Friday weekly Ask Me Any Stock, right? So if you have been following us while we have been doing this over the past 10 over months already, all right, and that's where every Friday we go live, all right, and we kind of like, cover the stocks that you guys are asking about, right? And last Friday, what happens is that we covered the US market, right? We covered the US market. So today we are going to cover what we call the Singapore market, right? The Singapore market. So very simple, right? Later, what we do is we do a quick market outlook. We'll cover the STI, the Singapore Straits Times Index, because today we're looking at the Singapore market, right? So we cover the Singapore market, STI, and then we'll dive into these Singapore stocks that you guys are asking about, right? So when you type in the chat in terms of the Singapore stocks, right, just give us a bit of context, right? Give us a bit of context, like, are you looking to buy or to sell? If you have bought it, like, what price did you buy? When did you buy? Last week, last month, all right? Are you looking to sell? All right. So give us a bit of context so that when we go to analyze the stock using the One Good Trend strategy, all right, or using the One Good Trend Pro indicator, all right, and that's the tool that we've been using all along over the past, AMAS sessions. And that gives us a quick opinion to guide you as well, all right, on what to do, to buy, to sell, to wait, to do nothing, all right? So give us a bit of context, right? That's where we give you more priority. We'll kind of like put your message up on the screen, and we're going to go through the stocks. Cool, all right? And at the end as well, we'll cover three Singapore stocks, one from me, one from Bervyn, one from Zee as well. We'll cover three Singapore stocks that you could put in your watch list for potentially more upside. So in case you ask about a certain stock, right, and we kind of like skip that stock, maybe yours might be the bonus one that we want to share at the end. Right? I don't know, maybe, right? Unless it's like going down and down, then of course probably not, right? But if in case you ask it and we don't cover it, it might actually be the bonus stock that we want to cover at the end that is top one. So we don't want to cover two times, no point, right? So we might skip that one first, and we'll put it up as we covered it at the end as well. Does it make sense, All right. Okay, so let's go to get started right now, right? For those of you who are just joining us for the very first time, you're scrolling through YouTube and Facebook as well. Do me a favor, guys. Help me to like and share. Help me to like and share if you have not yet, subscribed to our YouTube channel as well. Go to like and share, hit the like and share button, hit the subscribe button so that when we go live in the future, you will be alerted as well. All right, so go to do that, like and share. Give me some heart shapes as well before we begin. Let me know heart shapes. All right, thank you so much, guys. I can see all the hearts and what coming out. Thank you so much. Right, so do that, right? Like and share, reach out to more people. Think that will definitely help out the channel as well. All right, help us to reach out to more people. All right, thank you so much for doing that. Okay, very good. So if you've never met before, my name is Joey. All right, top tier MyZero trader in Philips Securities. I've been doing this for more than 15 years now. My forte is pretty much in stocks, and I have this strategy called the One Good Trend strategy, whereby in a matter of seconds, I'm able to get an opinion on any stocks, on what to do, right? Whether we get a bullish signal or a bearish signal, plus a few other confirmations that we look out for as well. And this is what I impart to thousands of my graduates as well, right? So if you find out more, perhaps you can attend a webinar. We'll probably talk more about it later. But right now, like today, we're going to dive into the stocks that you guys are asking, right? So yeah, very simple. Let me just go and introduce my team right now. I have with me, joining me, Bervyn, right? Bervyn, who has been with me for the past 5 over years already, one of the top brokers under me in Philips Securities, assisting our teams, group coaching sessions, our one-on-one calls with our mentees, and also assisting our team's portfolio manager with the managed account service as well. And Bervyn, right, is an expert not just in technically, but also fundamentally as well. He's a CFA, Chartered Financial Analyst holder, right? Pretty much one of the highest qualification, right, one can ever get in this banking and finance field, right? So maybe I can pass the mic to Bervyn to just share a bit about himself, maybe what you can add on today. Bervyn?
All right, thanks, Joey. Hi, everyone. Good morning. Welcome back to our weekly AMAS session. So, I mean, today, like what Choy has said, we are going to cover the Singapore market. I think quite a little bit of moves over the last week or so. You know, some of the counters have fallen. Some of them seeing a little bit more opportunity today as well, I would say. So, I think today will be quite an exciting session. All right, so just a little bit about myself. Yes, like what Joey have said, I've been with him for about over 5 years now. Both me and Z have been with him for very, very long. Okay, 5 years already. Long service award. Yeah. So it looks like market is rather volatile. You look across the board in Singapore, US. So I think just you need to be a little bit more cautious. All right. But of course, with opportunities, there could be some gains to be made as well. So I'll just pass the time back to Joey now without further ado to introduce Z as well.
All right, thank you so much, Bervyn. All right, so let me go to introduce another of my team member joining us today, and that will be Z, right? Z is one of the top brokers under me in Phillip Securities for more than 5 years now. All right, assisting our team's group coaching, our one-on-one sessions, our mentees, also assisting our team's portfolio manager. All right, and Z is a go-to person that I also consult as well in terms of the technicals of the chart, in terms of the technical analysis, patterns, candlestick, price action, whatever to do with charts. Z is the go-to expert, very well versed in the entire one good trend strategy as well. All right, and she's what we call a chartered market technician holder, right? Basically, is this expert in charts. All right, so let me pass on the mic to Z to share a little bit on herself today. Z, all yours.
All right, thanks, Joey. Hi, everyone. My name is Z. Nice to see you guys. If you guys are clients, good to see you guys again, right? You guys are new. Yeah, like what Joey mentioned, basically during my free time, and also basically it just means that I look at chart a lot, right? Looking at trends, looking at candlesticks and things like that. And also, for the past few days, maybe just to share with you guys a little bit, because I saw a lot of clients like here today with us, right? Maybe just to give you guys a little update, right? Over the past few days, we have just been very busy, clearing all the backlog, especially for those of you who have actually ordered the books, right? Because the book has been fully sold out. So we have no more books left. We are fully sold out. But then, we actually put the link in the chat for you guys who maybe did not, manage to get the book, right? You guys can, just wait list lah, right? Just wait list. So, when we actually, manage to discuss with our printers and to read, maybe, I don't know, right? Because maybe Joey, I'm not sure when will the next batch even be available, right? Because we are totally fully sold out now. But not to worry, you guys can just wait list first, right? Just in case, if let's say we have another batch coming up or things like that, you guys can actually get your hands on them, right? But yeah, back to today's session, right? Today, definitely we will also focus on, the 1GT Pro indicator, and with that, you will be able to see a very quick opinion, right? Using the indicator, a bullish or bearish signals, and on top of that, the 1GT 7-point checklist that, is part of the 1GT framework, right? But I believe if you want to know really more in-depth about the framework itself, I believe Joey has a webinar that's coming up, but I think it's the last one of the year already. If I'm not wrong, right, Joey? It should be the last one, right? Yeah, it will be the last one of the year now.
Yeah, after a lot of people asking about it, we decided to just open one final webinar, all right, to talk a bit more about it. I think that will be like probably 1 or 2 weeks time. Yeah.
Correct. So yeah, if you guys want to learn more about the framework, right, just make sure to attend the upcoming webinar, because today we don't have time to go through all of that, right? Because today we really just want to focus on the stocks that you guys requested, and based on that, you see how well or how good the 1GT Pro indicator is. And together with the 1GT framework, yeah, I think that is where we want to write on high probability trades and trends lah. All right. So yeah, with that, I think I'll pass the time back over to Joey to actually kickstart today's session.
All right, thank you so much, Z. And yeah, Z mentioned about this. I think let me know, guys, how many of you actually joined us on Saturday, last Saturday on the 18th of October. All right, you joined us and you got the book as well. Type a B for book, guys. If you have got the book last Friday, the One Good Trend Secrets book, let me know. Type a B in the chat. I want to acknowledge all of you have got to secure your spot for the book. Lucky you got in time, because really no more already. I sold out. Type B for book, guys. If you have not only joined us last Saturday on the One Good Trend Secrets book live launch, 6 hours straight, all right, non-stop. Type a B for book, guys, if you have got the book as well, right? Book, me, book. So all of you got the book. No wonder sold out, right? All no more already, right? So as I say, those of you who have not yet got it, maybe you're busy on Saturday, maybe you miss our emails, maybe you're like scrolling through, you're coming to this live right now. There's really no more books right now, because you can see a lot of people have secured their spot for the books. We got a second reprint. We managed to get the printer on a holiday to help us to see if we can come out a few more books, right? And so thank you so much for those of you who have got a copy of the book, all right, and secured a spot in the book as well. But those who have not yet, well, this is the page. Tim, just place the link in the chat again, right? This is onegoodtrend.com sold out waitlist page. Essentially, we are all sold out. Come to this page. All copies of the One Good Trend secrets are sold out. The response has been, to be honest, overwhelming, right? So this is pretty much just a page I created. So I went live, right? This you can see me. I went live for 6 hours. I talked about the entire framework. We did the AMA session there as well. We talked about a Q&A session as well. And me, Bervyn and Zee was there, right? So that I think we kind of like push and then pretty much no more books. So going to come to this page right over here, link in the chat. If you have not yet gotten your book, click on this, notify me when the copies reopen, right? So we're not too sure, guys, when it will be, right? Because we have kind of like, we're still kind of in negotiation. It could be 1 or 2 months time, but great to put your name and email over here, be on the email list. That's when we go, open up again in the future, you will be alerted to grab your book. And hopefully you'll be faster this time, right? Because I think it'll be quite fast finish again. All right, Ken? So that's the page. One Good Trend Secrets, the waitlist page. Okay, Ken? Okay, let's move on right now to the proper session today, the AMAS session. So just a quick disclaimer, whatever that's being shared, right, today, is just for education purposes only. All right, so please do your own due diligence. Okay, it's not really to ask you to buy or sell anything, right? Just giving you guys an opinion based on my strategy, my framework, my tools that we're using, and you control your own decision as well. Cool. All right. Okay. Very good. So let's get started right now. How many want me to cover the markets, right? This type of M for markets, guys. If you would like for me to cover what we call the markets, right? Maybe the STI, right? The STI. Let me know. All right, M. Right. And by the way, I just placed the link in the chat again, guys, regarding the waitlist page because I realized that it was wrong. All right, so we're going to click on the link in the chat to access the One Good Trend Secrets waitlist page. All right, that would be the correct link. All right, okay, very good. So let's go ahead to cover maybe the STI right now. Okay, so this is the STI right over here, right? 4,429. Well, I think the market for the STI has been pretty resilient. Of course, we saw some weakness over the past few weeks due to kind of like China imposing what we call rare earth mineral controls, right? Export control on its rare earth minerals. And China alone produces more than 90% of the rare earth minerals in the entire world, right? So when, kind of like China announced that, Trump got a bit, angry and he threatened to kind of like, increase tariffs starting from November by an additional 100%. So that was what was announced, right? On the 10th of October, I think right over here, we sold off quite heavily, like, on 10th of October, Friday, if I'm not wrong, right? I think last Friday or something, right? And it was a pretty heavy sell down, right? About 2-3%. But of course, you compare with April, that one's different. That one's like 5-6% one day, or 6% next day, another 6%. So that was in April. It was definitely a massive sell down because there was something new, right? He suddenly just announced, reciprocal tariffs on a dozen of countries. But for this one, he just threatened. He haven't do yet. That's just threatened, right? By early November, right? If we don't make a deal, well, I will increase tariffs by additional 100%, right? So I think, of course, it's still negative. But I think more or less people have been, it's not something new. I've been talking about this since April, right? A bit of negotiations with different countries here and there. So it's not entirely a new news, right? However, we did see some weakness coming back. And the next few days, Donald Trump kind of like backtracked. He took a less aggressive approach, right? They'll be meeting next week, Xi Jinping and Donald Trump in Korea. And of course, there will be a sideline trade discussion as well, right? So that's where, he kind of like, backtrack a little bit and mentioned that, the meeting will go well, looking forward to it. All right, and then it wouldn't be that high a tariff, right? We'll definitely come for we'll definitely come to make a deal soon or something like that, right? So that's where the market kind of like rebounded a little bit because I think both parties know that it's not sustainable like what they did in April, right? Eventually, all the tariffs came down, right? So he's here to kind of help China. Of course, they want to reach an agreement on what to do, but I think that's where we started to see strength coming back in the market as well over the past few days, right? So this is the STI. I can see right over here. I would say that support-wise, maybe about 4,300 all the way to the 4,500, right? So I think that is the kind of like resistance level, maybe all the way to 4,003. So longer-term trend is up. I think Singapore has been in a pretty strong uptrend since like last year, right? The longer term trend is up. The short term trend, if you take a look at the green line, you can see that, well, the green 20 days moving average line is like up, flat a bit, up a bit, up, flat, up, flat. So we look at the green 20 days moving average line. As long as it is up, well, I would say that the short term trend is up. So right now, if I'm looking at it, right, I would say that not only is the longer term trend up, the short-term trend is also up as well, right? So we're looking pretty bullish, to be honest. As I say, right, I mean, this equity market development program that have been announced since July, June, it has been pushing billions of dollars of funds into Singapore equities. $5 billion, they have earmarked $1.1 billion, another $3.9 billion that yet to be earmarked or yet to be to flow down into the Singapore equities market, whereby MAS is still looking at a few fund managers as well. All right, and that's creating a lot of positive sentiment in not just the big caps, right, but the smaller caps. In fact, later we'll cover, I think some of you are even asking about the smaller caps, the mid caps. Right? And this is where we're seeing a lot of strength. Even though we saw weakness in the US over the past few months, Singapore has been going up like nobody business, right? It's been, I would say, in my entire 10, 15 years of career, this is probably one of the strongest past few months that we've seen, right? Even after COVID, we saw a pretty strong rally, right? But from what I understand from me and my team as well, right, I would say this would be maybe even more, even stronger than post-COVID, right? So there could be a lot of upside momentum still. It could just be at the beginning phase. And you definitely want to know what stocks to focus on, all right? Okay, very simple. Now, let me go ahead to turn on the One Good Trend Pro indicator. So right over here, you can see that I've turned on the 3 moving averages, right? The green line, the 20 days moving average. The red line is the 100 days moving average. And the blue line is the 200 days moving average. So you see right over here, pump. 3 boxes. If I turn it all off, there we go, right? That would be a blank chart. And this is what most people actually look at, right? You just look at some candlestick, green, red, and it's a blank chart, right? But however, we use these moving averages to guide us in terms of the trend. And there's just, 2 confirmations that gives us the longer term trend and the short term trend. So what we can do is that we want to get more confirmations. I don't have time, as I say, to cover, guys, the entire 7-step checklist and confirmation. But what we can do, one of it would be the bullish and bearish signals. Right over here, the first box, I turn it on. And you can see, right, I don't want to go too far, but quite quickly, you can see that, now you can see red bearish signal. So in April, 4th of April, we got a bearish signal. Next day, boom, all the way down, right? When Trump introduced tariff. And then what happened? A week later, we got a new 1GT bullish signal. There we go, all the way up. Bearish signal came down a bit, another bullish signal, all the way up, right? Now, let's take a look at what has happened over the past 2 weeks. So we did actually got a 1GT bearish signal. So we saw a bit of selling last week. I mean, when Trump, between this whole US and China, it escalated a little bit. People were fearing. So yeah, we did sell down a little bit, not as much as April, but we did sell down a little bit. We broke certain support level, right? So that's where it triggered a 1GT bearish signal. But doesn't mean it triggered a 1GT bearish signal means why you will crash and then you will go all the way down, right? I mean, sometimes it will happen, like, when we get other confirmations, yeah, it might happen. But if we get just one confirmation that is a bit weak and the rest of it still looks okay, like you look at the green line, right? You look at the green 20 days moving average line, it was actually still sloping upwards. Does it make sense, Mom? All right. In fact, it's still sloping upwards right now. So even though we got a bearish signal, yeah, we did see some heavy selling on that day. But overall, not just the longer term trend was up, the short term trend was actually still holding pretty well. All right. So it looks pretty good, right? And I would say that right now, if we can go above that 4,500 level, or maybe 4,480, right? Yeah, 4,500 level. That is where we would potentially trigger a new 1GT bullish signal, right? And I can tell you that's where the market will be even more bullish. We could see another phase of upside, like pretty much like what we've seen, the rally from April to August. We rested for a while. Now we could see a new phase higher as well, right? So take a look, the 4,500 would be a very critical resistance. We may potentially see some profit taking over there in the next few weeks, but I think that's healthy as well. A bit of profit taking, sellers coming back. But if that gives way, I think that's where we could see targets being revised for the entire STI. All right, Ken. So that would be the very first, market for today that we'll cover. And now we're going to cover the Singapore stocks that you guys are asking about. So very good. I think a lot of you are already typing in the name of the Singapore stocks that you want a quick opinion on, right? So very good, guys, for giving us a bit of context. All right, I think you guys are doing great, right? Give us a bit of context as to why you want us to cover that stock, right? Did you buy? Did you sell? You bought what price? When you buy? Are you looking to sell at what price? That kind of thing, right? So that we have a better understanding, we're better able to analyze it based on your context that you're given. Okay, so let me now go to cover some of the stocks that we are looking at right now. Okay, just time and check, guys. Time and check some of the Singapore stocks you want a quick opinion on. Today is the AMAS Ask Me Any Singapore Stocks session, right? Okay, let me go to cover. Okay, let's see, right? So guys, I'm just picking one randomly. I just look at chat, so let me just pick one right over here. Q&M. Okay, can still buy or miss the bull? Let's find out. Q&M Dental, right? I think Q&M, I think was one of the stocks whereby we saw a bit of selling. I've seen Q&M Dental Group, right? Let's take a look at it, right over here. Oh, not this one. I think it's a Q&M Dental, right? Okay, I just put it out from my watch list. I think I have it on my watch list, right? Oh, right away. Q&M Dental Group. There we go. So Q&M Dental was one of the stocks that we actually covered. We shared with our clients in Philip Securities a couple of months back. I mean, okay, so very quickly, who's asking about it, right? RT, RLT, KW, right? So it seems like, I don't know, right? Today, in terms of YouTube, normally we can see the names, but today it seems like we can only see like the kind of like short form name, right? It's a bit the handles, right? But never mind, right? But you know who you are, who is asking about this Q&M Dental, right? So you can see that since April, well, we got two 1GT bullish signal. Long-term trend was up. Look at the short-term trend. The green line started to turn up. There we go. All the way up. We got a bearish signal. It went down for 1 week later. Two more bullish signal came out. There we go. All the way up, right? Consolidated sideways, went down a bit. But let's take a look at what's happened today. In fact, over the past week, okay, guys, I think you want to put this stock in your watch list. Okay? Let me know, guys, what do you guys think about this stock right now before I analyze it? Is it more up or is it more down based on what you're seeing right now, right? This is live, guys. Type U for up, D for down based on this stock, Q&M Dental. More up or more down? What do you guys think? Let me know. Time to chat. Okay. Up. Kevin as well. Thank you so much. We have, let's see, right? Going up, Styler up. Michael up as well. Lawrence, thank you so much. Up. Victor, good to see you here as well, right? Up as well. Very good, right? I would say that it is more up than down. Why? Because, I mean, if you ask me like maybe a few weeks back, I would say a bit of down. Look at the green line. The green line started to turn down, right? It's a bit of a short-term trend turning down. However, after seeing a bit of weakness over the past months in September, the green line turned down. Over the past week, we got two, not one, but two. In fact, today got one, right? Today got one, right? So it seems like we are attempting to break this 50 cents psychological resistance level, all right, whereby we have been trading below since August. For more than 2 months, we've been trading below the 50 cents psychological resistance level. We got a first bullish signal coming on Wednesday. Today is Friday, 24th October, and we got a new 1GT bullish signal appearing as well. So I think I'll put this stock and watch this, guys. I know it's only like, the market is still trading, right? So the key here is that we want to get more confirmations, right? And that confirmation will probably come if by end of today, haven't closed yet, but let's say by 5 p.m. or 5:30 p.m., right, the market closed, and we see the 1GT bullish signal continue to stay there. If we see prices continue to hold above 50 cents, right, 51, 52, 53, whatever, above 50 cents, that is where I think potentially we could start to see some very positive actions in the coming days, maybe up to next week or next few weeks, right? Why? Because two bullish signals that came out, long-term trend is up. Look at the green line. Let me know, guys, what do you guys think about the green 20 days moving average line? All right. U for up, D for down. What do you guys think, right? The green 20 days moving average line. U for up, D for down. You can see, right? The green 20 days moving average line has started. If you ask me last week, it's down, right? Down. But over the past 1 week, it seems like now we're starting to turn up as another confirmation. Does it make sense, right? So I think you want to put this stock in your watch list. That's what I can say, okay? Because I think I better write down. So thank you. Who is asking about this? Thank you for sharing with us, okay? Q&M Dental, okay? Not too bad. I think we could potentially see more upside. We probably need a bit more confirmation if we can hold above 50 cents, right? Because the market has not closed yet. But if we can, we go above 50 cents. Seems like quite a bit more, 515, right? But I think that could be where we could potentially see more upside. So put in your watch list. The very first stock for today, Q&M Dental, not too bad. Just by turning on the bullish and bearish signals, pump, disappear, right? Then nothing to see already, right? Turn it on, pump, wow, confidence come back already, wow, more excited already, right? So that is how we do it, right? We get a few confirmations, we get a bullish signals, we build a plan on it, and that's where we can, have what we call a high conviction setup, a high conviction trade entry. Cool. All right. So that's the very first stock, Q&M Dental Group. The code is QC7. All right. Let me pass on the mic to Bervyn to cover the next Singapore stock. Bervyn.
All right. Thanks, Joey. Okay, let's see. Moving on quickly. Okay, here we have Bennett. Hi, Bennett. Good morning. Bought CNMC at $1.36 recently. Now it is on a downtrend. Should I sell? All right, Bennett. Okay, guys, let's see. Can we help Bennett right here? Right now, what does CNMC Goldmine look like? All right, so CNMC Goldmine was one of the stocks that actually, if you are one of Joey's clients in Phillip Securities, you would have received a WhatsApp broadcast on it. I mean, a couple of weeks ago, I think since August as well, right, you have received a WhatsApp broadcast on it. And I think recently we see a little bit of weakness, right? A little bit of weakness. So let's just look at the longer term trend first, right? The longer term trend first. Can we see that it is still pointing up? All right, it's still pointing up. It started to gradually slope up in August, and then right now it is still sloping up. All right, so let me just very quickly delete this line right here first. This one right here. Can we see what is this 20 days moving average, this green line saying right now? All right, is it up, down, flat? All right, we can just type in the chat, Bennett, if you're still here. Okay, right, you're still here. So is your 20 days moving average pointing up or pointing down? Bennett, are you here? All right, no worries. Maybe there's some lagging in the chat. No worries, okay. Let's see. It is currently still pointing up, right, John? It's up, Bennett. Yeah, right, Bennett. It's up. It's still currently pointing up. So I don't think the downtrend is playing out much, or it didn't play out much, as we saw a little bit of sellers actually come in for some profit taking very close to this $1.40 level. This is where you had previously bought as well. All right, so this is typically where you will see some sellers coming back in close to a resistance because they are taking some profits. And I think right here, I think the past few days, we also see a little bit of weakness in the gold prices as well. So I think CNMC tracks that very, very closely so far. So it had also seen a little bit of weakness, falling just under that temporary support previously of 120. All right, it was trading under 120 right here on Wednesday, Thursday, and even today. We are back to testing that $1.20 level, but prices are still currently under that 20 days moving average so far, but it is still currently pointing up. So that nearer term weakness, it may be seeing a little bit of relief, as buyers start to come in again. Right, so we are looking to see if prices are able to break above that $1.20 level, that upside towards 120, I believe, could resume as well, because all signs are still pointing towards the uptrend still being able to continue. As long as that 120 level is cleared, we find a little bit of support there. Once again, that 140 level has been cleared. But Bennett, I think just need to be a little bit more cautious in the future, because I realized you had bought very, very close to the resistance level right there. Typically, we would like to try to buy closer to a support, right? Buy closer to a support, because why? Because you are buying closer to a resistance. That's where people actually want to come in to sell, right? You don't want to buy close to a resistance. If you're buying upon a breakout, say yes, completely okay, right? Completely okay. So I think right now, I think you just have to set up some alert, right? Set up some alert first above maybe 120, so maybe 123, 124. You want to get that confirmation that the longer term uptrend is intact. So at that same time, you can also turn on what we call like a trailing support and resistance if you have Joey's 1GT Pro indicator. So it actually demonstrates how the price move. So it's a dynamic support. It takes into account the volatility. It gives the stock room to breathe, or breathing space. So I think right here on Wednesday, we actually saw that prices actually open below that trailing support right here. Then you will have a 1GT bearish signal, but towards the end of the day, it closed above the trailing support. So that 1GT bearish signal actually disappeared. So actually right here, there was, for one day, there was a 1GT bearish, but it actually disappeared. So typically, we would like to set our trailing or our stop losses below that trailing support, right? Below that trailing support. So in a case where prices break, is not able to sustain above that trailing support, at least you'll be able to get out as well. So right now, at least prices are able to sustain from that trailing support. It rebounded from it, in fact, and we are seeing a little bit of a strength coming back in today. But I'm not too sure if prices are able to break above 120 today. So I think let's have some alerts being set up, all right? So if that 140 level is also able to clear, right? That upside, I think we can just draw very, very quickly to that 160 level, right? 160 level. So a couple of alerts you can set up for CNMC, I think still looking okay so far, will be above 120, above 140 to just get yourself alerted to that breakout. Why? It is because that trailing support will then have already moved up. Then you can start to protect some of those profits that you may be already sitting on if prices break above 140. All right, so I think lastly, you may want to just also do this, right click if you are able to do so, right click and alert, but just not a typical alert. You can add a 1GT Pro alert, so you can add a buy or sell alert, right? Once per bar will do, and just create right there. So if there is any new 1GT bullish signal, because you see this 1GT bullish signal is since July, if there's any new 1GT bullish signal or bearish signals, you will be alerted as well. All right, Bennett, hopefully that helps for CNMC. So far, still looking okay. Continue to monitor, still on our watch list as well. So now I'll pass the time to Z to cover the next stock.
Thank you, Bervyn. Okay, let me share my screen over here. I think before I begin, I saw a comment by Tan, right? Asking us, maybe it's a suggestion for us to move the comments by you guys. But maybe the next time round we can try this, because I think we are still figuring with the layout to see what's the best fit. But okay, understand that maybe it might be blocking the months, right? Okay, maybe the next round, maybe we can try something about it, do something about it. Okay, so the stock that I'll be covering right now will be by Alex, right? Alex, I saw that you asking about Venture. You say you bought at about 12.90. Looks like it remains strong. Any more upside, or should I take some profits or exit totally? Wow, good question. Okay, let's take a look at Venture right over here, right? This is Venture, right? So Venture definitely, I agree with you, right? It looks like it remains strong. Why? Because if we focus on what has been happening over the past couple of months, I don't need to look too far back. We can see that all three moving averages are actually heading up, right? The green is up, the red is up, the blue is up, and furthermore, somewhere in September, we see that the longer term trend actually has some sort of positive confirmation, right? Red cross above the blue line, right? Red cross above the blue. And for this particular stock, right, I think it hasn't been performing very well over the past year, as you can see over here. If I were to zoom back up to 5 years, 2020, yes, it surged, right? It surged all the way up, but subsequently after that, it wasn't performing that well, right? It was just kind of going sideways, but there is some sort of weakness, right? Because you can see that it is just unable to break above this $16 right over here, which is one of the very crucial level, Alex, which I will touch upon later on as well. All right. So then subsequently, you can see some weakness returning. The rate, the moving averages is the opposite direction, right? Blue, red, then green, which is not what we want to see. And subsequently after that, it went even lower, right? It went even lower. And this was where, downtrend started forming. There was some sort of, uptrend reversal in place somewhere in 2024, but it didn't materialize, right? Because subsequently, when you see over here, let me just zoom in. Over here, I believe that was when the earnings result came out. It wasn't that great. And, market actually absorbed the news, and price dipped and plunged even further to a low of about $10 right here. I would say $10, maybe $9.50 to $10. This is where buyers came in to support the price. This is one of the lowest. All right. And then that was when this year more action or interest started to return back to this counter, and this is what we are seeing right now, right? This is what we are seeing right now. Maybe let me just turn on the signals as well to take a look, because you mentioned that you bought at $12.90, right? And right now price is at about close to $15, 14.97. You bought at $12.90. Oh, so means you bought somewhere over here. You are definitely sitting on profits, right? Maybe about 15% profits right over here. Then perhaps, I'm not too sure. Is it maybe because you buy after it broke out above the $12.50? I think this is actually one of a pretty good entry, I would say, because it will be near a support zone. You want to buy near a support zone, and this is where you also start to see, you know, there's more positive signs of the trend turning up. I think the entry zone, right, definitely is not too bad, right? It's not too bad. And I think now your question is, what, now I'm sitting on so much profit, should I continue to maximize the profit, or, you know, should I just take some profit first, right, and put it in my pocket? Okay, very good question, right? So based on these, right, and to answer your questions, I think first thing we also have to see where are our support and resistance level lah, because resistance level number one will tell you potentially where can you take some profits, right? So like just now I mentioned, this $16 right over here, just now we saw, right, if I were to turn it off like so, this $16 is a very, very crucial resistance level. This was where it was tested so many times prior, right? Since, you know, 2020 all the way to 2023, right? And then I'm able to break above it. So $16, I would say, definitely is one of the very crucial resistance level. And this is whereby if price were to head to this level, right? This maybe 1550 to 1560, this is the zone, right? Then this would be one of the sell zone that you want to take note of, and to set some price alert, to take some profits. I don't have to take all, right? Don't have to take all, but take some profits is okay. It could be half a position, 1/3 of a position is fine, right? Because the longer term uptrend still looks intact at this point in time, right? Still look intact at this point in time. And if I were to turn on this thing which is called the trailing support, I think Joey has turned on earlier on, right? So just a recap for this trailing support, as you can see over here, prices, this trailing support will follow the price as it moves up, right? As you can see, it moves up, price move up, the trailing support will also follow and it goes up. And this actually accounts for the stock's volatility, right? Different stock will have different volatility. This accounts for the stock volatility, giving it room for it to breathe, right? So when price actually break below, right? When price actually break below the trading support, that's not so good, right? But as long as it continues to stay above the trading support, is it good? It's still good, right? It's still good as long as it stays above the trading support. And right now, the trading support I've turned on, and you can see right over here, right? It's also very, very close to this $14 psychological support that I've drawn, right? Because previously this was where, you know, prices actually saw some selling pressure happening, profit taking happened. We got a 1 GT bearish signal, and probably because, like I've mentioned, due to the earnings results, right? And then prices came back down, right? So $14 I've drawn as one of the immediate support level, and trailing support is also around this level. So since you're already sitting on profits, right, one way is to make use of this trailing support to help you, right, to maximize your profit while continuing to ride the uptrend. Because right now, does it still look good? Yes, I think it does still look good, right? Green up, red up, blue up, and it's also holding above the trailing support, also holding above the horizontal support. And this is where you can use the trailing support, right? Maybe you want to give it, like, you know, additional space, right? Maybe about 1 to 2%, depending, right? Because everybody risk appetite is different. It could be a couple of bits, like 3 to 5 bits, or maybe it could be a percentage, right? Whichever you're more comfortable. But you give it a bit more space below the trailing support, because if it breaks below the trailing support, you know what we mentioned earlier on, not that great, right? Not that great. But at least if prices were to suddenly reverse like that, your stop loss order is here. Would you still have captured profits? Because you mentioned that you entered about 1290, right? Over here, right? You would still probably retain some profits, like at least it's not zero, right? It didn't go back to square one. So that's the whole thing about, like, the stop limit order and the trading support, is that we want to ride this uptrend and to follow this trading support to actually protect your profits while you continue to ride it. Because if prices continue to head up, do you think that this trading support will continue to move up like that? Yes, it would, right? And that is where you can fully make use of this to follow this as prices move up, to maximize your profits, right? To maximize profit. But of course, if prices hit to this level right over here near the $16, is it okay to take profits? I would think it's perfectly fine, because like what we mentioned, when prices is near a resistance zone or resistance level, that is okay to actually take profits. Especially so when the past year from 2020 all the way to 2023, this entire 3 years, this $16, this is where we saw a lot of selling pressure returning. Okay, so Alex, I hope that helped to give you some levels that you can potentially monitor, set some price alert, especially near this $16 level could be one of the potential sell zone. And the other way is to turn on your trading support and to follow this trading support as price continue to move up. All right, so hope that helps. I'll pass the time back over to Joey to cover the next stop.
All right, thank you so much, Z. I think very well explained, right, in terms of the trailing support, right, whereby we want to allow a stock to play out further. Most people, they need goes up a bit, they make a few $100s, maybe a few thousand, and they think that it's enough already, right? I think I should get out already. Don't be greedy, right? But the point here is nothing to do with greedy, lah. I mean, if you can go up some more, then everything still looks good, then let it go up some more. Does it make sense, right? Rather than just say, enough already, right? I mean, but still okay, right? Why you want to get out, right? So we kind of like, take steps to protect our profits as it moves even higher, right? That's number one, right? And the key, like what Z has mentioned as well, right? Nothing wrong to take some profit near a resistance level. Nothing wrong. Take 1/3, 1/2, 1/4, up to you, 1/5, up to you, right? But I'm not so concerned about the take profit part, then easy, everybody can take, right? But what I'm concerned with is that, for the balance that you never take. Let's say you take 1/5 or 1/4, then you left 3/4, right? The balance shares. Do you just leave it there and see how, think about it or what, right? Or do you take steps to protect the profits for that balance share? That's more important, right? Because take profit very easy. Now everybody also know, but to protect profits, that's a different question. You guys see what I'm saying about, right? So very good. Z actually mentioned that, kind of like, to take steps to protect profit. And this is pretty much the entire one good trend strategy, which, we kind of like, dive a little bit more in the webinar that we'll do. Okay. Now let me go to cover what we call the next stock for today. And that would be this stock called Yang Financial Holding, right? By Ang Kui-se, Yang Financial. I think he bought on 3rd of October, pretty bullish candle, appeared, but he bought at 1.18, and then 9 October, unfortunately, next day started to come down to 1.04. Please advise. So you have bought it previously, right? Maybe 1 or 2 weeks back. Now it's 1.06. So you can see this is Yang Zhejiang. Let me just go to hide this comment right over here before we talk about it. So you can see this is Yang Zhejiang Financial Holding. Not too bad. In fact, this was one of the stocks that we have covered since, I would say, last year. Why? Because we have a few 1GT bullish signal appearing. This happened, I would say, in September last year. The first one that really saw the rally, that really put this stock in our watch list. Obviously, it's still my watch list, right? And there we go, all the way up. We got a bearish signal, 97% in 5 months. All right. A bearish signal, it became boring a bit for 3 months. Another bullish signal, went sideways. The green line was sideways. Very boring, like if you ask me, from the April until June, actually very boring. However, it became not boring in end of June, to be exact, 2nd of July, we got a second bullish signal. You look at the green line, it was boring, started to turn up, pump up, and there we go. All right, how many percent this time? Till we got a bearish signal just coming out last week, 45% in 2 months plus. Does it make sense, fun? All right. Okay, so that is how we know when to get in and also when to get out, especially if we do see a bullish and even bearish signal, right? So Kui-se, right? So you mentioned you got in about last week, right? Or maybe about 2 weeks back, 3rd October, early of October, right? Early October you got in, right? And I mean, preferably if you have got in like here, I mean, that is even better. That's like, about 75 cents, 80 cents. Because maybe you went up already, then you get in. That was like before the bearish signal came out. But if you ask me right now, let me know, guys, what do you guys think about Yang Zhejiang Financial Holding right now? Is it more down or more up, right? Type U for up, D for down, right? Based on Yang Zhejiang Financial Holding. What do you guys think about the movement right now? D for down, U for up. Help me to help Kui-se right over here, right? Before we talk about it, right? Let me know. What do you guys think? More up or more down? Okay, let's see, right? I think some of you are saying it's down, all right? Down, still down, 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 down. I think all of you, I know why you're saying down, right? Why? Because you can see that we actually got a new 1GT bearish signal appearing, right away. In fact, that was on the last Friday, all right? So the short-term trend, so we got a 1GT bearish signal, right? If you look at the green line, this green line that represents the short-term trend, it was up all the way from July up until last week. And now you look at the green line, I would say the green line is down, right? I mean, don't you bluff yourself. Up is up. You ask me like last month, I would say it's up, but now you ask me, I would say down. So we got a bearish signal plus the short-term trend is down. Okay, that is 2 confirmations that we are indeed seeing some heavy selling in the short term. Now, hear me out, right? I'm not saying that this stock will go down until like, cannot buy or go. No, right? That's not what I'm saying, right? What I'm saying is that in the short term, we could see some weakness still. It could be 1 week, 2 weeks, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, I don't know. I mean, it depends, right? So in the short term, we could still see weakness. However, the longer term trend is actually still okay, you know, right? Why? Because you look at the red and the blue line. Since last year, the red is above the blue, both pointing up. I mean, now the red and blue still pointing up, right? So actually, the long-term trend is okay, no problem, right? In fact, I'm actually looking to think about getting in again, when, not anyhow, when there are signs of reversal in the short term, right? When there are signs of a new 1GT green color bullish signal like this one, you take, I don't know whether you can take and paste over here, or here, right? If it come out even better. The green line will start to turn up even better. When that happens, that will be where not only is the long-term trend up, but the short-term trend also turn up. Plus, you got a new bullish signal as another confirmation, right? Plus a few other things that we look out for as well. Does it make sense, right? And this gives us more conviction for that particular reversal trade, right? So back to your question, Quiz, right? So I think you mentioned that you got in, I would say a little bit earlier, maybe 2-3 weeks back, 3rd October, early October, and it started to come down. So normally, what happens is that, of course, if you've got in way earlier, like when you see the bullish signal at 70 cents, 80 cents, I would say to get out, take some profit. I mean, 45% is good, right? But you've got in over here, right, before the bearish signal. So what we do is that we need to have a plan. Normally, when we see a bearish signal, the short-term trend trends down, we normally want to reduce exposure. If you have a plan to get out, we get out. If you have a plan to stop loss, we stop loss, right? Very simple. We don't think so much because we never know how low, all right, it can go. So right now, I mean, if I can give you some advice, right, $1 would be a horizontal psychological support. Not too bad. I think near $1, 102, 103, 101, some bargain hunting will come back on, because why? That's a psychological level. And if you look at it right over here in August, we actually held above the $1 for about 2 weeks before starting to push up all the way to 120. Right? So $1 would be a psychological support level. But just take note, I don't know, but let's say if the $1 psychological support level were to break down, maybe not, but let's say if it really break down, you go to 99 or 90, 98, 97. Do you think we will see more weakness? I would say that the green line will point even more down. This bearish signal will continue to be in play. Does it make sense? And that's where you want to reduce the exposure, right? So the point of it is that whenever we see a bearish signal plus a few other confirmations, we want to be a bit more careful, right? If you've gone in previously, we're planning to get out as per the plan. We don't want to just think and hope, it will show rebound. No, right? When it comes, right? We wait for the stock to show its head. We don't rush, right? Time to get out, you get out. Time to get in, you get in again. Right? But we don't just want to hope and hopefully you'll recover, but we never know, right? If the $1 gets broken, we may go to 90 cents support level. All right. If 90 cents gets broken, we may go to 80 cents support level. And that's pretty much where we were in July when we broke, or when we got the 1GT bullish signal. So we might push lower, right? So why not get out first? I will wait for the green line to stop pointing down, maybe flatten out a little bit over here, and then we start to point up. Then you look at it again. That's where you want to think to get in again. That's where you want to write the reversal again. You see what I'm saying about? All right. And of course, if we get a bullish signal, as I say, even better. That would be another strong confirmation. All right. Okay. So that would be Yanlord Financial Holding, right? So I hope that helps, Chris, to give you a bit of idea of what are some of the key levels to take note of and what are the top process that we do personally, right? If we have to hold a stock, we see a bearish signal plus some other confirmations, what we'll do. All right, cool. All right, so let me pass on the mic to Bervyn to cover the next Singapore stock. Bervyn, all yours.
All right, thanks, Joey. All right, let's see right here. I think Jared and Sun Yi is asking about DBS. All right, so Sun Yi, is it safe to buy DBS for a probable run up towards the third quarter results? All right, so Jared is asking, he's been watching DBS for the longest time and has not bought any yet. Is it a good time to buy DBS as he started to trade up? Okay, so maybe just let me remove your comments for a while, so we can see the full chart there. Okay, so right here, I think we can actually see that, yes, DBS have seen a little bit of selling, I think, since the start of October, but it has found pretty much support right around that $52 level. But let's see, the longer term uptrend definitely still intact for this blue chip stock, right? So who says blue chip stock cannot move up fast? If you can see here, right here in April, up to this 1GT bearish signal right here, there's still a 27 to 30% move. All right, but most recently we have a 1GT bearish signal. 1GT bearish signal. What does that mean? Does it mean that the stock will crash all the way down? See, no, it doesn't. It doesn't mean that the stock did not. It found a support. It found a support right there at about $52, and then prices started to rebound. And that 20 days moving average did not waver much at all. It did not waver much at all. It still continues to point up. It still continues to point out. Right now, we are just in between the support and resistance, that temporary support of $52 and that resistance of about $55. All right. So I think right now, is it safe to buy DBS? I think if you are intending to accumulate on a longer term basis, I think you should start to look at those levels, those 52, close to $52, maybe towards $52.50 levels. I think those is a very good level to actually accumulate on the dips. All right. Or likewise, you can also consider a more aggressive strategy to accumulate where prices actually break higher. Why would I say it's a more aggressive strategy in that sense? Is because prices will be trading at a new high. All right, so if you're thinking whether is it safe, Suni, I think it can be safer. Safer how is we can actually just look out for the trailing resistance right here. The trailing resistance right now is about $54.50, right around that level. So if prices were to break above that trailing resistance, we can potentially see another 1 GT bullish signal come right in, and that will definitely give you the better conviction or higher conviction to enter this trade. But I would not recommend, I still would not recommend to buy very, very close underneath that $55 level, because prices have already tested this level once, and then sellers actually come in. Why not, buy a little bit more expensive? It's okay to buy a little bit more expensive. Buy when the prices, or consider to accumulate when the prices break above that $55 level. But here's the thing, like what Jared have said as well, which I completely agree. We are coming up to the third quarter results for DBS already. It will be coming out on the 6th of November, right there. 6th of November. I think usually for banks, they will come out before the market opens. Right? So that's the day I think you need to mark on your calendar as well. If you are currently, sitting on some positions for DBS, you want to just be aware that you could potentially see additional volatility or additional price movements coming in on the 6th of November itself. Hopefully they declare another dividend. Right? I'm not too sure whether they will or not, but because it's never guaranteed. But at this point, I think DBS is still one of the better bank stocks in Singapore comparing to OCBC and UOB at this point. So I think so far, if you want to accumulate, I think 2 levels to take note of. But in the long-term sense, in the longer-term sense, it is still looking very okay, very good, in fact. All right, so hopefully that helps you guys, Suni and Jared. I will now pass the time to Z to cover the next stock.
All right, thank you, Bervyn. Okay, let me share my screen quickly over here. Okay, so the next stock that I'll be covering will by Jeanette, right? Jeanette, I hope you're still here. You say you bought Singtel at 4.23. Should I continue to hold for some upside, or should I sell to make some profit? Okay, let me just hide the comment first. Okay, so for Singtel, right? Singtel, as you guys can see right over here, right? Maybe you guys can help me out as well, and also help Jeanette out, right? She said she bought at 4.23, right? Now price is trading about 4.35. Do you think she should sell, or she should just continue holding? What do you guys think about the trend? Do you think it's good or not? Like, if I were to look at it like that, I haven't even turned on the signals yet. We just look at it. Maybe if you guys think it's good, right, you just type a G. Right, type a G. If you guys think the trend is looking too good, and you guys think not so good, should go and sell, then maybe type a B for bet, so that you know that time to sell. What do you guys think? Maybe you can let me know in the chat. Right, let me see. G. Oh, okay. A lot of you guys are saying G. So let me see. Good sign. Kelvin, good. John, G. Amanda says. Wait, somebody says sideways, right? Nikki says sideways. So, but a lot of G over here, right? Gerard also a bit flat, right? A bit flat. Okay, so let's take a deeper look, right, at this particular stock, right, for Singtel, right? To maybe help who is it? Jeanette, right? To help Jeanette out and see whether is it. Wait, let me find Jeanette's comment. Where is it? over here, right? To see whether should she continue to hold for more upside or should she sell to just make some profit first. All right. Okay. So for Singtel right now, right? Definitely, if we take a look at the trend itself, right? The longer term trend, both definitely good, right? Both are actually pointing up. For shorter term trend, the green line, when we focus on the green line now, it was actually pointing up. It came down, but now it's kind of like going sideways. And if I have to zoom in a little bit, right, you can see that, okay, like at least it's going sideways. It has stopped pointing down, right? It's kind of like just going sideways for now, right? And she bought at 4.23, right? Gina, you bought at 4.23. Definitely you're sitting on some profits really, a little bit of profits, right? Because now price is about 4.35, right? So let's take a look at some of the levels, right? That maybe Jeanette, you can take note of, right? Number one, I would say that, can you all see over here, right, about $4.10? This would be one of the very immediate support level, right? Right over here, this green line that I've already drawn, horizontal support. Why? Because previously over here, it was a resistance, right? Somewhere in July, right over here. Okay, let me change it to black. Yeah, over here, July resistance. Here tested it, break above it. A couple of days later, price came back down to retest it, right? Somewhere in August. Same thing happened over here in October, testing it as a support level, right? So previously was testing as a resistance over here. Then after that, testing as a support. So this I would say would be one of the immediate support level, right? That based on the price right now, this is the immediate support level that perhaps Jeanette you can actually take note of. And in terms of resistance, where do we see resistance at? Very clearly, it is at this 440, right? Very, very obvious, right? Because why? This whole period, September all the way to October, this entire month, right? Prices was actually testing this 440, cannot break above, right? Selling pressure is there to push the price back down and even push the price back down to retest this support at $4.10, right? So now price is definitely approaching this 440 level. So based on the 1GT framework and the strategy that we have been talking so far, right, is it okay to take profits near the resistance level? Yes, right? And this would be exactly where we are at right now, right? Which is near the resistance around this 440 level, right? Around this 440 level. But for Jeanette, right, I think based on this right now, at least the 20 days moving average is not pointing down. It's just kind of like heading sideways. Longer term trend still looks pretty intact. If you want to take some profits at this 440, I think it's okay, but don't have to take fully lah. Don't have to take fully, because if price were to break and hold above this 440, I think definitely we will actually see another 1GT bullish signal. Later I will turn on. Okay, let me just turn on these signals up and see right now. Even though right now, right, you see it right over here, we got a 1GT bearish signal, right? But overall, based on the trend that we are looking at and the price action, you see price actually rebounded from the 410 support. 20 days moving average has stopped pointing out and going sideways. Longer term is actually still looking good. So is it okay to take some profits, to lock in some profits at this 440? Perfectly fine, right? But if prices can break and hold above this 440, then definitely, wait, let me just remove this. You can see right over here, right, there is actually a trailing resistance, right? Of course, because now there's a 1GT bearish signal, bearish signal, we don't have a support, we have a resistance. If price can break and hold above a trailing resistance, is it a good sign that there's more buyers coming back in? Definitely, right? And there will be another 1GT bullish signal coming out, right? Which is exactly at this 440 horizontal resistance level. And if price can break and hold above the 440, what is the potential upside targets that we are actually looking at? If we do this and we project it up, the next upside target that we are looking at will be towards the $4.70, right? Based on a very simple projection. But provided that price must be able to break and hold above the 440 first, right? So for Jeanette, if at 440 around this level, this is where you want to take some partial profits, it's fine, right? The balance, right, if you want, you can also continue to, ride it up to potentially the 470 if price can break and hold above the 440 level, all right? So these are some of the levels that you can actually take note of. But of course, if price were to break below the $4.10, then that is where you got to think about your stop loss. You got to think about your downside to manage your downside risk. But so far, based on this stock, it's still looking pretty decent and pretty good at this point in time. Okay, so that will be for Singtel. Back over to you, Joey, to cover the next stock.
All right, thank you so much, Z. All right, very good analysis. So I take note of the very key levels that Z mentioned. All right, okay, now let's go to move on to the next one, and that will be about this stock called Hldg. All right, TFTF. Hi, Joby and team. Hope you can help. Right, thanks for being so polite. Right, okay, bought H13 Hldg land. in June 2021, quite long, 4 years ago, you bought about $2.80. Now it's $2.28. I'll still lose a bit. Okay, never mind. Should I hold and possible to break even? All right. So basically, luckily it's gone up a bit more, right? But the question is that you're still sitting on losses because you bought quite high, right? 4 years ago, 280. When do you buy? Wow. I think you probably got in 2021. I think over here. I think you probably got in over here or here or here. All right. When it was around 270, 280. So by right, I think you know right? TF, by right should not hold much, should not hold all the way. You look at this, right? I mean, we got the trend since 2022 mid turning down. Look at the red and the blue line down. All right. The red below the blue, both turning down. So the longer term trend turned down since like August, June 2022, right? So if you have got in by right, you should get out. And plus, you see bearish signal, look at it, wow, bearish signal is still on the hold, right? Green line turn down, red line turn down, blue line turn down, pump, two more bearish, two more, one more, all the way down, right? So we normally, as I say, we normally don't try to hold a stock whereby not only you get bearish signal, plus everything also look bad. Does it make sense about? All right. So that is what, but maybe you didn't have these two. But if you had it, I think it will probably guide you to get out first, right? And then wait for a re-entry when the time comes, right? Like what we are seeing over in the past few months. So if you ask me, I would say that in somewhere around like mid or November last year, well, we got same thing, some bearish signals coming out. And you can see it went down, right? From $2 all the way down to 170. But it seems like beginning of this year, or maybe up to May or June, we got the first two bullish signal, another one, 4 bullish signal. And we started to see a pretty good reversal coming in, right? From here to here, 23% in about 3 months, right? Still okay. But what I'm more happy about is that finally, you can see that the longer term trend, the red and the blue line, has started to turn out. We saw a bullish crossover whereby the red 100 days moving average crossed above the blue line. So the longer term trend has officially turned up since July, right? The short term trend, just by looking at the green line, it was up, flat a bit, up a bit. Now it's a bit flat. All right, we're still okay. I mean, it's kind of like resting a while, taking a consolidation break, right, from this level. All right, just write it down. I think this is a very key support level, 2.15, all the way to this very, very key resistance level, $2.30. Right, 215 to 230. Okay, it seems like it's doing this up and down for the past like 1 over a month, right? Up, down. So that is the range right now, right? So back to your question, right? I would say that by right, you should have got out. I mean, you've been all the way down from 280 to like $2, 170, right? Thankfully, it's starting to come back up right now. But if you have got out, actually now could be an opportunity to maybe to load up to think about getting in, especially if we were to see a new 1 GT bullish signal. So you can see, right, we got a bearish signal coming out finally after 3 months. So maybe it's taking a bit of a rest. It's we're seeing a bit of weakness in the short term. A bit of profit taking. Just near the $2.30 resistance level, right, in the short term. But overall, the long term trend is up. My thinking is this, right? If we can break the 230, now it's what? Now it's 228. I haven't yet. Okay, don't ask me when. Okay, but if we can break above 230. Right, we go to 231, 232, 233, whatever, next week or something, next week, okay, doesn't matter. That is where we could trigger a new 1 GT bullish signal, right? And I can tell you this green line that, was like up and then like started to flatten now, resting a bit, right? If it starts to point up again as another confirmation, like what we've seen over here, even better. Another confirmation that we are starting to push even higher. And that's where, lucky for you, all right, TF, and that's where you could ride it even further. Hopefully, I don't know whether you go to 280, all right, for you, and then hopefully you can sell. But the point is that doesn't matter whether it's 280 or 260, or it could go $3 or $5 or $4, it doesn't matter, right? Nobody knows. But we have a plan to ride it until we see some bearish signals or some signs of weakness, all right? So even if it doesn't reach 280, right, even if you go to 260, and then I see 5 bearish signals come out, right? And then everything starts to look down. Then also get out. Doesn't mean I don't care. I must make sure I wait until 280 then I sell because I bought last time, 280. No, doesn't matter what price you bought. The stock don't know that you bought at 280 so that it will let you reach 280 and then check if you get out already. Now, okay, now can I go down already? The stock never thinks so much, right? It's your own self-thing, right? So even if, whether you go to $3 or 280, it doesn't matter, right? We get in, we get out based on a proven strategy. We wait for the stock to show its hand, then we know when to get out. All right, so I hope that helps so far. Lucky for you, still quite okay. We break 230, you can set some alerts. Break 230, we get a bullish signal. Even better, hopefully, it reaches your 280 break-even price, all right, that you've got in about 4 years back. All right, so that would be for whole B land. All right, let me pass on the mic to Bervyn to cover the next stock.
Right, I think very good so far. Starting a very good reversal for Hldg land. All right, next up, let's see. Here we go. Okay, let's go. Clement, good morning. Joey and team, good morning to you, Clement. Great value bought sets at 3.45 at the start of this month. However, prices failed to break above the psychological $3.50 resistance and knee 1 GT bearish signals. All right, let's take a look. Okay, on my screen right now, we have sets. Okay, let me just delete all my drawings. I got a lot of drawings here. Okay, very quickly, I think what actually stands out to me is this, right here. You can actually see that the 100 days moving average have finally crossed above that 200 days moving average. All right, so that is a very, very good sign of that reversal or that reversal into the uptrend finally playing out in the right direction. I mean, prices have rebounded very swiftly from that $2.50 level. Right now, it's trading about $3.47. Are quite live at this price. All right, so we actually saw that prices actually retested that $3.60 level. Very recently, I think earlier of October, this was where previously prices broke below and then it started falling. Now it's testing, it previously has tested this level again. And then we can find a little bit of a temporary support, I would say, right here about that $3.40 level back then in July. It has tested it once, kept under it for about 3 months or so. Actually, no, more than that. 3 months, about 3 months or so for finally breaking above. All right, and right now we are seeing a little bit of consolidation once again at this level, right above that 340 level. So the entry price was at 345 earlier this month. All right, so we had actually went up to about 360, like what Zee and Joey have said. So nothing wrong if you actually wanted to take some profits close to that 360 level. So actually, it's nothing wrong one. Actually, in fact, it is sometimes best to reduce a little bit of exposure as well. But I guess because you saw that the longer term trend is starting to point up, shorter term trend still up at that point. But I think right here we cannot see that 200 days moving average starting to point up just yet. Still a little bit pointing down. So I guess that's the last factor that we are still looking out for as well. So I think we potentially can just turn on, because you say if there's any 1 GT bearish signals, right? Let's turn on and just find out. Right here we have actually one 1 GT bearish signal. Actually came in, I think, on the 17th of October last Friday. We actually saw a 1 GT bearish signal as prices broke below that 340 horizontal support level. So let me just very quickly, I just want to turn on that trailing support to actually take a look. Right here, we can actually see that the trailing support is right around that 340 level as well. But right now, we have a 1 GT bearish signal. So there is a trailing resistance. In fact, so I think right now you are potentially just looking to hold onto sets for a while, but I think you need to consider a plan. Consider a plan, Clement. What happens if prices are going to fall or prices fall below that 340 level again? All right, again, I mean, it briefly fell below your false breakdown right here. Prices very quickly on the next day actually opened above that 340 level. But look at that candlestick. Look at that candlestick right there. It's actually quite a bearish candlestick as well, right? Long upper shadow, but prices in fact just continue to push. All right, continue to push a little bit higher. Right now we are at 347, right at your break even point, So if prices were to break below that 340 level, you may potentially see the downside towards about maybe that 320, right? Maybe about that 320 level. Maybe a consolidation that happened there previously was a support back then in February 2025 as well. So this could be that downside that you could potentially face. All right, if that 340 doesn't hold. So definitely, you want to have a plan, reduce that exposure. Nobody say that if that longer term trend continues to play out, that 200 days moving average continues to slope up, the prices stabilize in the near term, another entry could be right there for you. But I think in the nearer term, with that 1GT bearish signal still valid, I think you want to be a little bit more cautious. Set some alerts under 340, maybe 338, 337. Just get alerted if that 340 doesn't. Oh, but I think the upside, I think right now towards that 360 first, I think still very valid. I think still very valid as long as we can see continued momentum. I think prices are seeing a little bit of resistance today as well. It's not moving much. It's right at this open price at this point. Just change this line color to green. Okay, so what happens? All right, Clement, what happens if that 360 gives way? Fantastic, great. Then you'll be sitting on some good profits already, right? So you want to do a little bit of projection right here. A little bit of projection right up to that 380 level first. Back then in October, this was where prices has tested as well. Back then in November, this was where prices has tested as well before we see a lot of 1GT, 1, 2, 3, 3, 1GT. Bearish signal actually come right in and prices fell all the way to 240. Yeah. So nothing wrong. If it is able to head up to that 380 level, I think that is where you can also take some profits. All right, so I think in the nearer term, if we see prices break above that 360 level, I think that 1GT bullish signal will show up right there. I think that is where that continued buying momentum can potentially push the prices to 380. Couple of levels to watch out for, Clement, in the nearer term. Maybe you just want to watch out for 340 first. All right, make sure you just hold above 340. Okay, so I think that is for sets. Hopefully it's helpful for you. I will pass the time now to Z to cover the next stock.
All right, thank you, Bervyn. Okay, so the next stock that I have over here will be from Miffy, right? Miffy is asking about HST bought at 92. Now right now it showing I get IG shown down, should sell, or okay, so basically you're asking you bought at 92 cents, right? Whether should you hold or should you sell now, because right now we got a 1GT that is showing a bearish signal, right? I guess that is what you're trying to say lah. Okay, so please correct me if I'm wrong. All right. Okay, so let's take a look at HST, right? So this basically is an ETF as well. So if you guys don't really know, right, 1GT, this indicator, right, you can actually apply to any asset classes, right, even including like this one, which is an ETF that tracks the Hang Tech. Okay, so like what Miffy said, right now, right, there is indeed a 1GT bearish signal, right? It's not a bullish signal, but a bearish signal that appears on 14th of October, right? Previously, we have how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 bullish signal coming out, and suddenly over the past week, right, we got a bearish signal coming out already, right? And Miffy, you mentioned that you bought at 92 cents lah. So I believe right now price is trading about 987, right? Definitely you are still sitting on some profits, right? And you're thinking whether this 1GT bearish signal come out, should I take profits, or should I just continue holding, right? So when we take a look at this, right, just now I don't know if you guys still remember, for Singtel, we are seeing the similar thing, right? We are also seeing that the longer term trend, red and the blue is pointing up, right? We got 1GT bearish signal. But then what is different from this with Singtel, right, is that this one, right, do you guys see that the 20 days moving average, right, is pointing down? It's pointing down. But if you guys remember just now for Singtel, we also got 1GT bearish signal. But at least it is kind of like holding sideways or going sideways, or even showing some signs of it going back up already, attempting to break a resistance. But for this, right now, it is still pointing down, right? It is still pointing down. It is not even going sideways yet for the short term, right? So, and we got 1GT bearish signal. And over here, right, based on the price level, right, the immediate resistance, this one, right, I should actually turn it to a red, right? Because previously here, it was definitely a resistance, right? Back in February when prices was testing this $1 psychological level. Eventually, it broke above it somewhere in September over here, right? And then now it broke down, right? And now price is below this $1 psychological level. So actually, yeah, I should turn this to red. So now it is a red already, and it is a resistance level. Yes, even though it is testing a resistance level, and you know what we always say based on the 1GT framework, if price is near a resistance level, what can you do? You can take profits, right? You can take profits. There is nothing wrong to actually take profits right over here, especially so when we see a 1GT bearish signal and the 20 days moving average is still pointing down. If you tell me that this 20 days moving average is like Singtel like that, is actually going sideways or even shows signs of it pointing up, right? Then potentially there could be more probability that the price can break and hold above the $1, whereby we potentially might see more potential upside back towards the high of about this $1.08 to $1.10, this level right over here, right? But right now, short term wise, it's definitely seeing some sort of weakness lah. We are still seeing some weakness because 20 days moving average is still pointing down lah, right? So for MIFI, right? For MIFI, since you mentioned you bought at about 92 cents, right? Price now is near a resistance. If you are following the 1GT framework and the strategy, there is nothing wrong to take profits near the $1 psychological level, right? But it's up to you to decide whether, okay, you want to, because I also don't know how big your position is, right? Perhaps you might want to consider take position like half profits, right? Half of your position near the $1 level. That is also fine, right? Because longer term trend is okay, but at least can consider to lock in some profits first near the psychological $1, right? Because we got 1GT bearish signal. If prices continue like it goes up, unable to break above $1, it continues to head downwards, right? I think the next support level that perhaps you might want to take note of definitely would be at this 90 cents right over here, right? Because this 90 cents, you can see that this 90 cents, right, is also one of a very crucial level because it has been tested multiple times, right? Right over here, a very extremely long bearish candlestick, selling pressure is here, push the price back down. Here it broke above it, right? And tested it for 2 months, right? February to April, right? As a support level, and then it broke down. Here tested it as a resistance. Here was testing as a resistance once more. So if prices were to come back down and test these 90 cents as a support level and break down, then definitely, potentially, we might see even more 1GT bearish signal already. And that's where, probably your entry price is at 92 cents. You'll be having some losses, right? To think about your stop loss plan as well. But right now, based on the current price action and your situation that you are in, I think there is totally nothing wrong to take profits near the $1 psychological level and to monitor the 20 days moving average, right? To see over the next couple of days or couple of weeks whether this 20 days moving average does it actually like go sideways or not, or is it continuing to point out? If it continue to point out, then perhaps definitely we will see more weakness returning back to this counter lah. All right, Mifi, I hope that helps give you some of the levels to actually take note of as well, and to reiterate that there's nothing wrong to actually take profits near a resistance level. Okay, so that would be for HST, Hang Seng Tech ETF. Back over to you, Joey, to cover the next stock.
All right, thank you so much. Let's move on to very good, I would say, Singapore stocks, the next one. All right, and that will be asked by Tan KH, right? Hi, all, appreciate the share on Sheng Siong, right? Sheng Siong, the code is OVA, right? So I believe most of you know Sheng Siong, right? Sheng Siong is one of the groceries that me and my family goes to as well every weekend, right? Do our grocery runs and all that. All right, a bit of NTUC, a bit of Sheng Siong, a bit of Cold Storage, right? Yeah, but Sheng Siong is I mean, familiar name that I think all of you know, right? And this is one of those stocks that we have covered, I would say, since a couple of months back. In fact, I've actually got my team to send out a note on WhatsApp, if I'm not wrong, like last Wednesday, in fact, over the past few days as well, right, to our clients in Phillip Securities, because I thought that there could potentially be more upside, right? And it seems like it is playing out, right? So before I even go into analyze it right now, guys, let me know. I mean, how many of you are actually a client of mine in Phillip Securities? The type of C for client, guys. If you're actually a client of mine in Phillip Securities and you check your WhatsApp now, you actually got received, this idea on Sheng Siong, like I think last Wednesday or something, or maybe past few days also have. Type of C for client, guys. If you're a client of mine in Phillip Securities, I want to make sure I acknowledge all of you, for this showing up here, showing support for this Ask Me Any Stock session as well. Let me know. Thank you as well. Let's see, right? Client, all right? A lot of clients over here as well. Let's see who's the client over here joining us. All right, type of C for client. If you're a client of mine in Phillip Securities, that means you have a trading account under me in Phillip, all right? So, wow, you can see quite a lot. Thank you so much for the support, right? Victor, Gerby, definitely, right? Kitsan as well. Eric, client, very good. So this was one of the stocks that we share with our clients, guys, in Phillip Securities, Sheng Siong, and a few others. So the point I'm trying to make is that in case you're not like many of our clients over here joining us, you're just scrolling through YouTube or Facebook, and then you just join us, you don't know who I am. Well, find out, right? The link is right in the chat. Find out how you can become a VIP client of mine in Phillip Securities, right? Like Lily, Amanda, Jason, Ted, David, Wally, Raju, All right, like all these clients over here. Thank you so much for the support, right? Those of you who have joined us, right? Essentially, basically you can get some of those ideas much faster, like Sheng Siong, for free, at no additional cost, right? It's the same. I mean, I don't know where you're trading, but you need a trading account to trade lah, right? So you probably have a broker somewhere, but if you're not getting any service from your own broker, like Andy, like Francis and all that, then find out how you can become a client of mine in Philip Securities for free. Link is right in the chat. Click on it, right? And just fill out your details. My team will reach out to you, and that's where you get some of those ideas much faster for free daily. By WhatsApp, all right, and that's where I mean, faster than the time it takes for us to cover it live. By the time maybe move up a bit already lah. So check out the links right in the chat. You will get some of our private training videos as well, all for free and no additional cost. Especially if you are not getting any service from your broker. All right, I say again, right, you do not pay anything more. If you are trading, you have a trading account, you log in online, the mobile app, whatever lah, right? But nobody call you, nobody WhatsApp you, nobody talk to you, nobody send you any idea, video, training, nothing. Right, you any problem, you got to wait 5 minutes, call hotline, that kind of thing. Should not be lah. The link is right in the chat. Right, check it out. Okay, Ken. Okay, let's go to talk about Sheng Siong right now. Right, Sheng Siong right now. As I say, one of the stocks that we have covered a couple of months back. Last week, I got my team to send out a note on WhatsApp to our clients. Those of you who type CCC, right? Check out WhatsApp. I think should have, or I think past few days also have. Okay, but essentially, we are starting to see some strength. That's why I think when Tan KH asked about it, I don't want to just cover it. It seems like quite familiar, this name, right? So Sheng Siong, OV8. Could there be more upside? All right, you want me to share about it, right? So never mind, let me go to talk about it, because you can see that now the price is $2.31. So in a matter of seconds, I just say, this is a chart of any stock. We have covered a few other stocks already, but we could turn on the One Good Trend Pro indicator, and we can turn on the bullish and bearish signals, the very first box right over here. Let's go ahead to do that. 1, 2, 3, pump. And there we go. Now the blank chart suddenly become alive. You can see a few things, right? So if you see a bearish signal, red color one, then be patient now. Don't need to rush now. But if you see not one, not two, but 3, 4 bullish signal, pump, right? Past few days again, 5, 4 bullish signals coming out. Look at this, right? There we go. Right? How many percent for Sheng Siong? This Sheng Siong, y'all nothing special. You all know Sheng Siong, 42% in 7 months. Right? 42% and counting, I don't know whether it can go up, but and counting. Right? So when you see bullish signals coming out, that's the reason why we kind of shared this stock with our clients a couple of months back, since like April, May, June. All right, of course, invested a little bit from August and September, but seems like now it is starting to wake up. Right, from its rest enough already. I think tired and sleep enough already. Okay, starting to come out. Why? Because we have broken this $2.20 psychological resistance level. Right, for the past 2 over months, August and September, if you ask me, actually very boring. Every time go up, come back down, go up, come back down. Cannot break above 220. But I don't know what happened on Wednesday. Right. It went above the 220. Of course, we got a new 1 GT bullish signal that got triggered. And if you take a look at the green line, I mean, okay, look at the long-term trend, the red and blue. I think all of you very easy to see. The long-term trend has been up since last year. Then primary school also can see. But if you take a look at the green 20 days moving average line, the green line has also started to slope up since, I would say, October or September. In fact, right now, is it still sloping up? Yeah, still sloping up. In fact, slope up even more. Does it make sense? All right. So we are definitely starting to see some strength in Sheng Siong. All right. And that's where I got my team to send out a note on it. Right. Targets could be, right, in terms of a projection upwards. That was the consolidation range right over here. So we kind of project this range all the way up to here. So a near-term target could be easily anywhere near the 240, right? Doesn't mean you go to 240 means you'll come down, right? That is just kind of like a projection kind of target, right? But it might go to 240, 250, 260, all right? Especially if 240 gives way, targets could be revised even higher, right? The point here is that all trend indicators are positive right now. Bullish signals are in play. And if I can quickly turn on the trailing support level to give you guys an understanding, right? Are we above the trailing support? It's another confirmation. Let's take a look. Let's go. There we go. So I think Zee and Bervyn talk about the trailing support right over here. Right? You can see since the bullish signal came out, another few more bullish signal. Well, the trailing support has popped out in April, and it gives the stock the breathing room to move, right? It accounts for the volatility of a stock. It follows the stock as it moves up. But don't follow too closely, like give it some space, right? Don't like what so stalking like that, right? Give it some space, right? Give it some space. As long as you stay above this safety net or beneath this safety net, right? You're fine. You continue riding the uptrend. So this safety net, the trailing support, has followed from 150 up, flat, follow, now become $2.05. All right, are we above it? Yeah, we're still above it, right? In fact, now it's $2.15. Right? So as it moves up higher, the trailing support continues to follow as just another confirmation. And as long as we stay above it, good, right? The space accounted for, any natural pullbacks to near it would be fine as well. Chill, nothing too worried about it, all right? In fact, it could be a good opportunity as well, right? If it does dip to near the trailing support level, right? But the point is that as long as we're above it, looks good, targets could be revised. This is definitely one of the stock you want to put in your watch list for potentially more upside. All right. And as I say, right, team can just place the link in the chat, right? If, as I say, you want to find out about how you can get some of those ideas much faster by WhatsApp for free and no additional cost, not just Sheng Siong, but a few other stocks, right? Find out how you can become a client of mine in Philip Securities for free. Click on the link in the chat. You come to this page. In fact, let me just show you what page you come to, right? You come to this page. All right. Over here. All right, okay, let me just show you, right, just to be 100% clear. All right, you come to this page right over here. Okay, sorry, let me just get the link again. There we go, right? So click on the link in the chat. You come to this page right over here, right? Stop guessing, right? Get exclusive Singapore stock ideas and expert insights daily from a top-tier stockbroker trader for free. All right, for free. As I say, if you're still trading alone with no support from your broker, nobody send you anything, nobody call you, nobody WhatsApp you, nothing. All right, click on the link. You find out more. All the details are this page. You can watch the video as well at no extra cost. No extra cost. Right? Check it out. All the details are here. Some of the services you can enjoy. Some of the ideas that we share about clients over here. In fact, check out some of the reviews that we've got from our clients. I mean, you can just click on this. These are some of the real life Google reviews that we've got from our clients. I mean, let me open bigger for you. All right, you can click on load more. I mean, you can read like, your team is the best in Singapore. I find value in Joey's client. My trading skills has improved. Utmost satisfaction service provided by Brian from Joey's team. Brian, not bad, huh? Right? Okay, very good. All right, so you can click on more. I don't know how many more you click. It's a lot lah. Your own self see, right? So check out what some of my clients are saying over here, and find out what you're missing out. All right, link is right in the chat. Check it out. All right, Ken. Okay, good. So that is Sheng Siong. I hope you like this video. I mean, I hope you found some value for Sheng Siong. Right? Who's asking about Sheng Siong? Put that in your watch list for those of you who have not yet. Okay, Ken. And let me go to pass on the mic to Bervyn to cover the next Singapore stock. Bervyn, all yours.
All right, thanks, Joey. Yeah, Sheng Siong pushing higher. Fun fact, I really like to go Sheng Siong because Sheng Siong has the cheapest Ben and Jerry ice cream. They run the best promotion. So if I want to buy ice cream, go to Sheng Siong.
Oh, serious? What, Ben and Jerry?
Yeah.
Like what?
Yeah, Ben and Jerry's ice cream always have the 3 for $30 promotion. So I really like to go Sheng Siong.
Okay,
Yeah.
I thought 1 for $15, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you buy the Ben and Jerry ice cream and then you buy the Sheng Siong stock also.
Nice.
Okay, let's go. Okay, so let's see right here. I think just now I saw somebody was asking. There we go. Esther, hi, good morning, Esther. So can share trend for Food Empire on 1GT. All right, okay, let me just throw my screen up right there. Right, okay, so I think we have Sheng Siong, right? Sorry, not Sheng Siong anymore. Food Empire right here. We actually saw that prices have actually risen quite a little bit since February. So February, we have the 1GT bullish signal coming right in. Shortly after, it's already a 38% move. Okay, then from the next 1GT bullish signal right here on the 23rd of April, up to the most recent 1GT bearish signal coming in. It's another 86%. 86%. So for those of you who have already bought a Food Empire a while back based on Joey's WhatsApp broadcast, I think you may be already sitting on some profits. Maybe it's time to look to how to protect those profits already. Okay, so right here, we actually see that the support of $2.20. 220. This is where the 100 days moving average is also residing very closely. It's currently being tested, or previously had just been tested on last Friday, 17th of October, prices closing just below that $2.20 level. And however, on Monday, a little bit of strength came back in. And prices have subsequently rebounded just a little bit. But we are still in a general, I would say a general consolidation range. Between that 220 to that 270 level. Right, 220 to 270 level. So Esther, I don't know whether you are currently holding on to some food empire or not, but if you are currently holding on to some food empire, do you want to consider to take some profits? All right, take some profits where, like what Z and Joey have said multiple times already. Here is a resistance, or what we sometimes like to call also like a sell zone. Sell zone meaning what is most people like to sell in this zone. All right, so why is it a zone, not a specific price level? Is because sometimes you want to sell at 250, exactly at 250. You could see that resistance just being tested, and then the resistance actually just break through. So sometimes it's quite hard to sell at 250 because there are a lot of sellers just lined up right there. They all want to block out their 250 psychological level. They all want to get out at exactly that point. So if you want to actually get out, or you intend to take some profits close to a resistance level, we sometimes recommend you just look at it 2 to 3 bits lower is also fine. So maybe 2.48, 2.49. If you want to let go, I think that is a good price level to actually let go as well. Right. So right now, of course, we are not there at 250, 248 just yet, but we are seeing a little bit of a strength coming in the last few days. But this is coupled with a little bit of a mixed signal from that 20 days moving average pointing down already. This was after prices actually sold down from that $2.70 resistance level. So you have been sitting on some profits. You may want to consider to just take some profits close to that 250 level, or alternatively, you can actually just turn on that trailing support and resistance here. Can you see that the trailing resistance right now is also right around that 243 level? All right, so if prices approach that 243 level, breaks above it, you can see this could happen once again. Exactly, maybe I don't know whether it's exactly the same length but you maybe can see a potential breakout happening right there. Very similar situation that happened on the 12th of September as well. And then prices can potentially head back towards that 270 level. All right, so I think right now for Food Empire, I think it's more of a wait and see situation. But if that 220 level gives way, the lower support, this lower support where that 100 days moving average is also at, if it gives way and it's broken through, I think definitely it's time to consider to reduce a little bit of exposure, because you are already sitting on some profits, right? You want to get out with profits. You don't want to have your profits turn into losses just because you don't want to sell when prices are a little bit lower already. Okay, so I think just set up some alerts, Esther. Just set up just watch out for another 1 GT bullish signal that could potentially come in if we approach that 250 level once again. All right, I think that's a very quick one for Food Empire. I'll pass the time now to Z to cover the next stock.
All right, thank you, Bervyn. Okay, let me share my screen over here. Okay, I hope you guys can see my screen, right? And okay, the next stock that we have over here will be from Isaac Megan, right? Morning bought SIA Engineering at 2.693, almost 20% gain in a few months' time. Is it time to sell? Thanks. Let's take a look at this stock, right? Oh, before I proceed, right? Maybe I'll just do a very quick recap of the stocks that we already covered, right? Because I think in the comments, I saw quite a number of repetitive counters as well, all right? So Joey first started off with the STI index, right? The market update. So followed by the very first stock, which is Q&M, right? Q&M, the second stock will be CNMC Goldmine, followed by Venture. And the fourth stock is Yanlord Financial Holdings. And then the next one is DBS, followed by Singtel, Hldg, then SETS, right? And the ninth stock is HSTech Index, HST, and Sheng Siong, and Bervyn has just covered Food Empire, right? And this one, number 12, will be the 12th stock, and it will be SIA Engineering. Okay, so let's dive right into SIA Engineering to take a look, right? So Isaac Megan, right? Okay, you bought at 2.69. Let's see, 2.69. Oh wow. And price now is at 350. Definitely sitting on profits, right? You mentioned that almost 20% gain in a few months' time. Okay, so the question is, I think that is one of the golden question that usually people have, right? And ask us is, especially when they are sitting on profits, right? Who don't want to maximize their profits, right? Everybody would love to maximize their profits and gain as much as possible, especially so you're already sitting you are in the green, right? You're in the green. So definitely that's a very valid question, especially so when we are looking at SIA Engineering right now, right? The entire trend based on the moving average for SIA Engineering definitely still looks pretty good, right? You see the green line is actually pointing up. Red and blue is also pointing up. And on top of that, not too long ago, somewhere in September, we got 2 consecutive 1GT bullish signal that's actually still playing out as well, right? So overall, I think SIA Engineering definitely still look not too bad, especially when, let me just see, you mentioned bought at 2.69, right? 2.69 around here to where we are at now. Yeah, you are sitting on about 30% profits, right? But the key thing is to protect your profits, right? Because we don't want it to go back to square one, price go back all the way down to 2.61, net zero, right? Okay, so now for SIA Engineering, right, based on this, right, we want to take a look at where are the support and resistance. So maybe Isaac, Megan, this is where you can actually set some price alert as well, right, as some of this support and resistance level lah. Okay, so for immediate support level, right, based on price now is about 350, right, we can see that the support level, right, will be somewhere around this $3 and 30 cents right over here, around this $3.30, right? Because this is where previously, somewhere in July, price tested it as a resistance, right? Here was where, there was some sideways consolidation, right? Short-term weakness whereby the 20 days moving average, right, was kind of like just flattening out. At least it didn't point down, right? It was just kind of like flattening out, right? And this $3.30, right, I would say is one of the resistance level that it was testing, right? Right over here and somewhere here as well. But eventually, this was where it broke above the $3.30, 1GT bullish signal came out. Right, price went all the way up to about this 360, tested this 360 resistance level a few times, right? Especially so when, let me just zoom in, can see this candlestick right over here, this one with a very very long upper shadow. This actually, even though the candlestick is green, it doesn't mean that it is bullish. All right, it has bearish implication because of the long upper shadow, and it just means that there is a lot of selling pressure queuing there near this resistance level, near this 360 level, right? That's why during the trading day, prices push all the way back down, selling pressure push all the way back down to where the price actually opened. All right, so here 360, I would say definitely be one of the immediate resistance level to actually take note of, right? And sounding like a broken record, right? We now know that the resistance is near the 360. Is it okay to take profits near the resistance? Definitely, right? Nothing wrong to take profits near this 360 resistance. And also to repeat what Bervyn has mentioned earlier on, usually when you try to queue exactly at maybe let's say a psychological level 360, 350, it's very hard because there's a lot of people that is queuing there, and then you might be queuing behind don't know how many thousands of shares, right? How many hundred thousands of shares, right? That is the reason why we always make it as a zone rather than a specific point, right? Because like what I mentioned, sometimes it is testing the level, right? But we will never exactly know which point would it be, because maybe Bervyn could be looking at maybe like 358, 359. Maybe Joey could be looking at 357, right? But it's always a zone, right? So right now, I would say for SIA Engineering, the zone would be near this 350 to maybe about this 360 zone, 355 to about this 360 zone right over here, which is what we can consider as a resistance zone or a sell zone. All right, but overall the uptrend, short-term trend, long-term trend with bullish signals still looking good, right? If prices can break and hold above the 360, then what is the next potential upside target that we are looking at for SIA Engineering, right? Right over here, you can see that I've drawn one right over here at $4, which is a psychological level, right? Because price, if I were to pull all the way back, this is actually at an all-time high, right? So when prices is at all-time high, we can actually use a psychological level as our targets as well. But of course, some of you guys might say, hey, then why don't use the range, right? Like right over here, about 30 cents range, right? if we put it up to 30 cents range, you can see right over here is about 3.90. It's also very, very close to a $4, right? And usually, like I said, $4 is a psychological level, and we always look at a zone, right? So it's a zone. Then the next potential upside target, the zone, if prices can break and hold above 360, would be somewhere here, about 3.90 to about $4. So that's the reason why I actually drew at $4. Okay, I hope that answers some of the questions that I think you guys might have, right, in terms of target price. All right, but so far overall, I think SIA Engineering definitely still looks great. But one thing that I think I want to highlight for you guys to take note, especially if you're holding SIA, is that the earnings is actually coming out very, very soon now on the 4th of November. So that could potentially be a catalyst for the price to actually move up or down, right? I don't know, because I also wouldn't know the results, like, and how the market will actually absorb the news based on the earnings result, right? But the most important thing is to make sure to actually protect your profits, right? And to protect your profits, same thing, trading support. Make use of the trading support. That is where you can use this to actually protect your profits, right? Especially for Megan, you mentioned that you bought at 2.69, right? If prices were to break below this $3.30, then potentially we might see price heading back to the range of about the $3 to $3.30 that it was in from June all the way to September. All right. So key thing, remember, protect your profits. All right, Megan, I hope that helps some of the levels that you can take note of. Okay, so yeah, with that will be SIA Engineering. Back over to you, Joey, to cover the next stock.
All right,
By
thank you so much.
the way, before that, I think one thing, right, is that because all of these things that we have covered, right, I think it is just part of the 137-point checklist, right? So I think if you guys actually want to really, really know more about the one good trend, the framework, the strategy, right? You guys can actually attend Joey's, I think, last session. Last 1GD webinar session. I think it's on the 4th of November, if I'm not wrong. And for those of you guys who are asking about, hey, how do I get this 1GD Pro indicator? Like, how do I get these signals, right? Definitely, if you actually attend the live webinar, you will also be, you can also actually try our free trial, right? I believe that is also provided, right, to people who are interested to actually join the webinar. You guys can actually have the free trial to test drive it, right, to see whether the signals, right, you can turn it on and off yourself. But of course, you don't have all of these other more advanced features like the trailing support, the volume change and position setting table. But at least you can actually see the bullish and the bearish signal lah. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think correct, right, Joey? Right. That's right.
Yeah. Let me go ahead. I think Zee mentioned a very good point, right? So basically, guys, you can see that whatever we talk about, me, Bervyn and Zee, we use the one good trend strategy, all right? And I mean, that's pretty much the backbone of the entire indicator that we're using, right? The one good trend pro indicator, all right? That's what we're using, right? In the matter of seconds, to turn on the bullish and even the bearish signals, right? So what happens is that, we're using the pro one now. We're using the pro one, okay? Pro one, what's the difference between the pro and the light? Well, essentially the pro one that we're using, let me just go to turn on the boxes right over here. There's a few other boxes, a few other confirmations that we see. As I said, I don't have time to explain to you everything today, but a few other things that we look out for. That's the pro version, right? You get more confirmations, all right? However, if you want, you can test drive the light version, right? The light version for free for 14 days, right? So just paste the link in the chat, guys, all right? And that is the one good trend light indicator for free. You'll come to this page, right? Most incredible free gift ever in the market, right? And we are just talking about stocks today, right? Today is Singapore market, so talk about Singapore stock. But doesn't mean you cannot type in the name of any other stock. You can type in the name of Apple, Nvidia, DBS, crypto, Bitcoin, Ethereum, whatever, all right? Gold, anything, right? And you get an opinion in seconds, right? So go to test drive the one good trend light indicator for free. Details on this page, click the link, you come to this page. And not only that, all right, just to help you out for this test driving it, all you have to do is say maybe. You do get like what we call $3,000 worth of bonuses, training, all for free, just to test drive it only. All right, so this is a link, click on it, you come to this page right over here. All right, Ken, so that will be for pretty much how you can test drive the 1GT light indicator. We're using the pro, but you can test drive the light for free. If you want to find a bit more on the pro, something you might be asking, Joey, then how to get the pro? Well, if you want to find a bit more about the pro indicator, the more advanced one, whereby we take the time to break it down, we show you live and stuff. The whole strategy, we kind of like do it step by step, and we follow a very simple but yet repeatable process. Well, what you can do is to attend a free webinar, right? So I realized that my team has planned one webinar, and that will be on this date right over here, right over here, 4th of November 2025, which is next Tuesday, 7:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. I think this is the last webinar of the year. No more. Zee, Bervyn, no more already, right, this year?
Yeah, correct.
No
This is
more
the last
already.
one.
After that, Happy
Yeah.
New Year already.
Yeah, after that, so like that's it. So this is the final one. So if you really want to find a bit more, all right, find out. All right, this is the last webinar of the year, 4th November. Hopefully you can make it. If cannot, there's also no choice. All right, but basically it's the last webinar. Check it out. All right, that's where we'll kind of like break it down in detail more further. The entire one good trend strategy, the one good trend pro indicator, and the confirmations that we see. All right, so link in the chat, click on it, you'll come to this page, right? Team, just place the link in the chat again, right, for the one good trend final webinar for 2025, right? Link in the chat, check it out. Okay, now I think we have a bit of time, so let's just go through one final round. Shall we do it, Bervyn and Zee, last round for stocks? Okay.
All right.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, good. Let's go to do it. So I'll just go first, right? Let's go one final round, guys, before we go on to the bonus stocks. Me, Bervyn and Zee, each of us will share with you one Singapore stock you want to put in your watch list. All right. Okay, so let's go ahead to cover this next stock. I think that's asked by Lawrence. Hope you're still over here. Lawrence, David, G. Sembcorp Industry. I bought at $6.31. Any more upside? Well, let's find out. All right, so the price is 647. Wow, lucky up a bit. Okay, very good. Now, let's go to find out what has happened for Sembcorp Industry over the past 1 over year. So very quickly, guys, you can see that the long-term trend for Sembcorp Industry has been up. Red above the blue since December last year, almost a year, right? We saw a couple of bullish signals. Pump. Of course, if you see bearish signal, then please don't go and buy lah. Or you buy it, see all the way down, right? So don't get in when you see a bearish signal, all right? Be a bit patient, wait for a re-entry, wait for the stock to show its hand, right? Wait for bullish signals to come out. Look at this, pump. 3 bullish signal. The green line turned up. Long-term trend up. There we go, all the way up. Because we got a 1 GT bearish signal somewhere around August. I think that was where there was some earnings announcement. It came in slightly kind of like below expectation. Even though it was good, but came in below expectation, surprise to the downsides, and we saw quite a heavy sell down, right over here. All right, so you can see that this bearish signal came out and down we go. So of course, imagine you see a bearish signal, you still hold all the way down, then nothing to say lah, right? You want to get out first, right? Bearish signal plus the green line also turned down, you still hold for what, right? So get out, right? Wait for the reversal signal to come back, right? Wait for the bullish signal to appear. Wait for more confirmations of the short-term trend. The green line also don't keep on pointing down, all right? At least point up a bit, right? Did it happen? Well, it seems like it has happened, right? The green line that was going down, wow, lucky never go down, starts to flatten out. Past 2 weeks start to point up a bit. Plus, we got a new 1 GT bullish signal, all right? So I think it looks okay, Lawrence. I think it looks pretty okay. We are at least starting to see some signs of a reversal right now, right? If you ask me over here, then I'll say be patient now, right? You ask me over here, I'll say be patient. You ask me over here, I'll say I also don't know, right? Because you haven't come out yet, how I know, right? But if you ask me right now, or maybe last week, I would say that there are definitely some signs of a reversal right now because we got a bullish signals. Short-term trend has started to turn up over the past 2 weeks. And if we break certain key levels, I can tell you we might even see a new 1 GT bullish signal, right? That can be another further confirmation. So now it's only 1, but you can see previously it's like a 2 pump, right? Or 3, right? Let's see previously. Well, this one pump 2, right? So of course 2 better than 1 lah. So if you get 2, then right. But now only 1. But let's say you got another one, all right? I think that's where more upside momentum can come back even faster, right? Targets could be revised. So what I would say right now is that we probably would be seeing a bit of resistance around the $6.60, 660, 650. You can see around here. I think last week right over here sold off, right? Rebounded up, but I think 660 to 650 lah. I think that's where some profit taking can come back. But just watch this level. I think you can see I've set some alerts, 661, 662. Okay, maybe let me set 663 lah, 663. So if you go above 661, 62, 63, my phone will ring, all right? I'll receive an alert, and that's why I'll take a look at it again, right? If there are any bullish signal, even better, right? I think that's where, if it happens, right, we could potentially see a firmer reversal, maybe all the way up to that 750. And that was pretty much where we were. It was the support that we broke down, right? We could potentially start to see more signs of the reversal happening, right? From 660, all the way to 77, all the way to 750. That could be the upside targets. All right, Lawrence. So if you got it at 631, I think it's okay. All right, as I say, not too bad. We got a bullish signal, and look at this, right? We were actually consolidating below 620. Look at it, right? Up, down for 2 months, almost 2 months, right? We're below 620. So when we go above the 620, it means something, right? There's some strength coming back. Buyers are kind of attempting to push prices out of that 2 months sideways consolidation, right? So that's where it looks pretty good, right? Plus we got a bullish signal, so not too bad. The only thing now is that if you want a bit more confirmation, if it goes above 650 or 660, that will be a further confirmation. If we get another bullish signal, as I say, even better, the reversal could remain on track. All right, so this Sembcorp industry definitely still looks good for me, in my opinion. All right, so let me pass on the mic to Bervyn to cover the last stock for today, right?
I think it's the second last. I think Zee will cover one more as well, but no worries there. I think I saw some of the questions somebody is asking for a repeat of stock, but unfortunately we are not able to repeat whatever analysis you have done already. But no worries, there's a replay after this entire stream ends. All right, but let me just recap of what stock we have covered today. So Joey started off with talking about the STI, all right, seeing some bullish moves, and then moved on to Q&M Dental, followed by CNMC Goldmine Venture, then Yanlord Financial Holdings. Then I covered DBS Bank. Zee covered Singtel. Joey covered Hldg Land. Then we moved on to talking about sets. Zee covered the Hang Seng Tech Index, which is HSTech OCBC, is an ETF. Next, Joey actually talked about Sheng Siong, then Food Empire, and then right now is Sembcorp industry. All right, so I'll cover the second last requested stock before we actually move on to talking about our bonus stock. All right, so let me just change my screen right here. All right, let's go. Let's see. Styler. Hi, Styler. Welcome back. Bought CICT 1.98 average. What's the upward trend? Should I sell some at 240? Okay. Bought at 1.98 average. So I'm assuming when you are typing it like that, it means you bought in different batches lah. Just that your average out is 1.98. So that's great. I think the last I checked, the dividend yield for Capitaland Integrated Commercial Trust was about 5%. So yours should be hovering around that level right now, although the prices are a bit higher already. All right, so 1.98. If we are looking at 1.98 here all the way until today, I bet there is a 22% up move already. For REIT is very, very good already. So I think this year, I think it's a rise of the REITs again. You know, all the interest rates in Singapore, the SORA has dropped quite a little bit. Very beneficial to the REITs as well. And people are starting to place the money back into REITs rather than keeping it in deposits already. All right, so we are seeing that the CICT has finally broken above that $2.40 level. That 240 level, I think it was kept previously since the start of this month. All right, so I think Styler, I think if you want to sell, I think you're a bit too late to sell at 240 already. It's past 240 already. So right now we are in what we call a support zone. A new support zone. And the upside I have previously already drawn up to $2.50. The shorter term trend alongside the longer term trend all still looks pretty good, right? The green over the red over the blue, all signs pointing to a more upside. And then prices have also recently broken above that $2.40 level. No bearish candlesticks appearing just yet. We still have 2-1 GT bullish signals still intact. So I think if you want to sell, I mean, nobody can stop you lah, but there is an opportunity for you to continue to ride this trend. You are still getting your dividends for sure. All right, so I think you are in a very, very good position for Capitaland Integrated Commercial Trust. All right, so I think so far you just want to maybe just take note that 250 level is where you will potentially see a little bit of a consolidation coming in. You may see because usually you don't expect for REITs to be moving very erratically. all right, or just moving up higher and higher and higher, day over day over day over day, like that, right? So you just want to, maybe expect a little bit of a sideways movement, maybe something like this, right? Something like this within the typical range of 240 to 250. Great. Then I then don't think you need to take any moves because you will still be enjoying the dividend. However, if we turn on that trailing support and resistance, you can see that trailing support right now it's around that $2.30 level, the 230 level. So if prices takes a hit, all right, so let's say it takes a hit and it falls below that $2.30 level, that is where I think you need to come in and reassess, is this REIT still worth holding on to? Doesn't mean you want to hold a REIT or you want to hold a longer term investment. You don't need to think about the trend. You still need to look at the trend, because by then you may start to see heavy selling already coming in. All right. So I think for now, Tyler, you are in a good position. Just have some alerts closer above that 250 level, and maybe even perhaps another one GT bullish signal can appear there, and then your upside could be even better, even higher, right? All right, so there's a quick one for CICT, looking very good so far. Passing on the time to Z to cover the last requested stock.
All right, thanks, Bervyn. Okay, so the last stock that I have before we move on to our bonus stock section, right, would be by PSSOH. Bought CSE at 0.65 cents, and accidentally sold at 72 cents when it turned down. Can buy again at current level around 77 cents. Thank you. Okay, so let's take a look at CSE. So you mentioned that you bought at about 65 cents and then you sold at 72 cents. Okay, at least you say you accidentally sell, but you accidentally sell with profits, not accidentally sold with losses, because we do encounter clients whereby they want to place a buy, or they want to place a buy, right? But then they actually go and press sell instead. Then after that, sell at a much lower price. Then that is a loss. So be careful, right? Always when you're placing your order, submitting your order, always double check, triple check to make sure that you are on the correct direction. Buy is buy, sell is sell. Don't place the wrong one, all right? So at least for PSO, right? You mentioned that you sold at 72 cents. So at least you got out with profits, right? Maybe let's see, 72 cents. About a 10% lah. At least still got capture a 10% profits lah. But of course, price went up even higher today, and a bit sayang lah, because if you have sold, if you have never sold, you probably will be sitting on more unrealized profits at this point in time, right? And your question is now you want to get in again, right? Is it okay to get in at around this 77 cents, which is price is currently where it is at, right? First thing first, before we even think about buying, we look at the trend first, right? Number one is the trend up. Long-term trend, short-term trend, is it still looking good? Because if the trend not looking good, we don't even want to look at the stock, right? But so far for CSE Global, I think definitely still looking good, right? Long-term trend, red and the blue, they are pointing up, right? And then short-term trend, it was kind of like going sideways, but you can see that it's starting to point back up again. So at least now we know that long-term trend, short-term trend, not too bad, right? Okay to proceed on to continue looking at the stocks in terms of support and resistance. Where can we potentially be buying, right? So today price break out, right? You can see right over here, I think I've drawn a resistance at about this 75 cents, right? Price have broken and still currently holding above the 75 cents. So not too bad, right? I think that is the reason why you're asking, whether can buy at this 77 cents right over here. I think it's okay, but the key thing is because today is only the first day that it broke out, right? You see, yesterday it actually closed exactly at about it closed at 75 cents, right? Today it opened and now it's trading at 77 cents. It is higher now, right? But I don't know whether at the end of the day or next week whether price can continue holding above these 75 cents, because it must hold above these 75 cents for a potential next leg up, right? Because 75 cents, I would say, is one of the resistance level. As you can see, for the entire month from September to October, this was where it was actually tested, right, as a resistance. Now it is a support, but can it remain as the new higher solid support? I don't know, right? Because today is only the first day, right? And the next thing that you also got to take note, right, is that because now price, if I were to look back, definitely the price, this is an all-time high, right? The all-time high next potential target, right? like we mentioned, sometimes we base off a psychological level, right? Because at the all-time high, people don't really know where's the price to sell. Then they tend to look towards like psychological level. Let's say, for example, like 80 cents, right? So 80 cents would be the next, I would say, psychological level where some profit taking can actually come back, right? Near these 80 cents. But of course, this is where, some profit taking can come in. So I would not be surprised, at if prices were to head up to 80 cents, there's some profit taking or there's some resistance happening, lah, right? But I think if you are thinking about entering, key thing is to monitor and make sure whether this new higher support, this 75 cents, right, can actually indeed hold, right? And if price can, go sideways like that a bit before it break out the 80 cents, even better, right? Then potential upside targets that we will be looking towards will be 90 cents. And if you were to see over here, right, this was where 60 cents was actually one of the very crucial support level, right? And if I were to just do a very simple range like this that it was trading and project it up, right, you see the next target, right, actually is at 90 cents, right? But of course, like I've mentioned, even before it hit 90 cents, you got to make sure that it clear another resistance first, right? But now you got to make sure that price can hold above the 75 cents first. That's the first thing, right? Before your 80 cents and 90 cents can even be hit, right? So, but overall, this still looks pretty good, right? Okay, let me just turn on the buy and sell signals, and let's take a look as well, together with the trading support. Okay, so, over here, we actually got, not too long, when was it? 22nd of October, just 2 days ago, we actually got a 1GT bullish signal coming out as well, and it's still playing out, right? Oh, maybe, okay, I think this was why you said you actually maybe accidentally sold lah on right over here, is it? On the when the 1GT bearish signal came out, but nothing wrong, right? Nothing wrong. Especially when you see a 1GT bearish signal, you want to take some profit, it's fine, right? But yeah, just make sure to double check your buy and sell order. Don't key the wrong one, right? So now the question is, when you are thinking about entering again, where should you enter? So like I've mentioned, maybe this is where you can consider to set some price alert, right? Around this 75, right over here. So maybe let me just do it quickly together with you. So right click, add alert, right? So maybe I want to add alert at 7:55 every time, right? Create, right? And the next alert that I also want to add, apart from price alert, is I also want to add an alert on the bullish signal. If let's say there's another 1GT bullish signal come out, right, it gives me another layer of confirmation. That is what I want to know, right? So 1GT, one good trend, buy alert, once per bar, create. So that's it. As simple as that, right? So I have a price alert. I also have a signal alert. As long as the price, it is hovering at this level, right? I think not too bad, right? And maybe you can wait for it for about like a couple of days or at least a week. The longer you wait, right, the more confirmation you have that this support can indeed hold above it. All right, and 80 cents is where some profit taking can happen. And if price can break and hold above this, price can break and hold above these 80 cents, then like I've mentioned, potential upside targets that we are looking towards will be the 90 cents level. Okay, so PSO, I hope that helps in terms of a very quick analysis for CSE Global. Okay, so over to you, Joey, to actually start our bonus stock for today.
All right. Okay. Finally, guys, we have covered a total of 15 Singapore stocks. So, guys, apologies. As I say, every Friday as well, I just counted, right? I think more than 50, 60 over stocks, right? We cannot do 50 over stocks, guys. Sorry. That will probably take a few hours, maybe up to today also cannot finish, right? So, our apologies if we cannot cover all the stocks, but I hope you guys have a better understanding of, the tool that we're using, the 1GT Pro indicator, even the strategy as well. All right. So let me know, guys, before we talk about the bonus stock, how many of you got value? All right. This type of V for value, guys. You got value today. You learned a little bit, especially if you cover your stock, right? Let me know if you have got value for today, right? Let me know. Right. Type V for value. Let me know, guys, in chat if you got value for today's session, right? Type V for value before we take a look at the bonus stock that like to share with you, right? Value, right? Thank you, Z. Awesome, right? Value, Styler, Lawrence, Bennett as well. Hi, Chinket as well. David, John, value, awesome, right? So I'm glad all of you get value. I mean, that's the whole purpose, guys. You can see that we're doing these live sessions every week without fail. It's not really for us, like, actually, we could just do it on our own and analyze and, but the fact that we're here, we don't show up. We want to make sure we add value. We want to make sure all of you get your stocks analyzed as much as possible. We try our best, right? So glad that all of you got value. Thank you so much for just joining us today. Fantastic, Gurmeet, awesome, right? Value, Timothy, DJ, Stephen, awesome. All right, okay. Now let's go to talk about the bonus, the very first bonus stock that I'll share, and I'll pass on the mic to Bervyn and then to Zee, right? So what is my bonus stock for today? Well, this bonus stock I'd like to share with you will be this company called Bumi Tama Agri. In fact, I think a few of you asked about Bumi Tama Agri. I think it's probably hidden somewhere, but this stock is Bumi Tama Agri, all right? And I'll pull out this message by Jared. I just saw Jared. I hope you're still over here, right? Jared, got your message for Bumi Tama message. I think probably the WhatsApp message, is it, Jared? I believe you are a client of mine in Philip Securities, Jared. You bought in at $1.33. Okay, very good. Now is what? Today is 141. Correct. Now it's 141. All right, good lah. You make money already lah. All right, awesome, Jared. All right, so I think you're probably getting my daily WhatsApp message. All right, as I say, guys, if you want to get ideas like this daily for free, like Jared and many of our clients over here, all right, I think we sent out a note. I think Jared, we actually sent out a bit earlier there. Maybe you got in a bit. We sent out when it was like 120 something, right? But never mind, we still got in, you still make money, right? But those of you who are not yet a client, right? Find out the link is right in the chat for the final time. Our team plays in the chat. Find out how you can become a client of mine in Philip Securities, right? To get some of these ideas by WhatsApp, all right? Daily for free, all right, and no additional cost, like Jared, right? So that you can write some of those ideas together with us, all right? So link the chat, click on it, and fill your details. My team will reach out to you, all right? You can join Jared, all right, to make some money, but maybe you can make even more, right? Let's find out. And that's pretty much the bonus stock for today that I'll talk about. But I saw your comment, Jared, so I thought why not just put it up as well. Okay, let's talk about Bumi Tama Agri, right? So I know Jared got in like maybe last week when it was about 130 something, but for us, in fact, this stock has been in our watch list since like July, August. I mean, very quickly you can see that we got 1, 2, and finally we got 3 1GT bullish signal, all right? I think it really woke up somewhere around like early of August after the second. So the first one you can see, right? Well, it came out, but it was a bit consolidating still, right? So doesn't mean you get a bullish signal, means you anyhow next day just go and buy. No, the bullish signal is just one confirmation, one only, right? We need more, right? Two maybe still not, right? We need at least 4, we need 4. So we need 4 bullish confirmation, not 4 bullish signal, but we need 4 confirmations of a particular good specific trade setup, right? A high conviction trade, I would say, all right? So this bullish signal will be the starting point. We get a bullish signal and we start to see the short-term trend turning up. Great. We start to see the longer-term trend forming as well. Great. We start to see a couple of bullish candlesticks as well. Even better, right? So as I said, we don't have time to explain the whole strategy, but essentially, when we get the bullish signal, it's just one step of the 7-step checklist. All right, but once you get it, at least better than don't have, all right? So once you have it, good, then you seek out other confirmations. And there we go, right? I mean, from the second bullish signal to now, I would say it is 84%, right? In 3 months, right? 84% in 3 months, all right? And counting, right? It still looks pretty good, right? So 84% in 3 months, right? I mean, there's no bearish, there's no red color signal as of now, so I feel that it still looks pretty good. All right, you might say that, oh, HOE 84% a lot already, right? I mean, yeah, it's really quite a lot, but to be honest, when it was like 34% over here, when it was like 50%, people also say a lot, right? And then you go up some more, right? So we don't like, oh, 84 a lot, then you get out, 50% too much, I get out. No, right? I mean, as long as there's no signs of weakness, then you just continue riding, right? Why you want to think so much, right? So there's no bearish signal, then you continue riding. Does it make sense, All right. So why don't I share this stock? Well, as I say, right, because right now we got a couple of bullish signals. They're still in play. In fact, I could turn on the trailing support as the other confirmation that we seek as well, and see what it says, right? So you can see that since like June, July, August, we got a trailing support popping up. It followed Bumi Tama Agri as it moved up, but you don't follow too closely. We gave it the space to breathe, right? To move freely. Right, to account for any natural volatility movement. And there we go. Up, flat, follow. And now you can see flat. Right? That's how you must ask me, Joey, why from August to September never follow? Because you also never move up, nothing to follow. So it just remain flat. All right. And it starts moving up, then we follow again. Right. And right now, the trailing support is around $1.22. Right? Slightly below. Slightly. I mean, there's some space, right? The space between the price and the trailing support, which is correct because we give it the space, right? So as long as we're above it, it's a safety net there. I think there could still be more legs to this rally, even though it's at 84%. All right. So my take is very simple. I think we might see maybe a horizontal support coming out around 130 to 135. I think today we might even be attempting to push higher above 140. So targets could be to 150 to 160. Take some profits near there if you want. All right. But for us, I think if it still looks good, probably don't want to take. All right. Let it ride some more. As I say, until we get confirmations that it's coming down. We see a red bearish signal. The green line also start to turn down. Look at the green line. Red and blue, you can see it's up. But the green line, it's up, right? If you ask me in September, I would say sideways. But you asked me last week, I would say it's up already. All right. So definitely more confirmation saying that it is going up. So why not ride it, maximize the profits until I don't know when, all right? Until there are signs of a reversal, until there are signs of selling pressure coming back. We see a bearish signal and all that. Then fine, we get out, right? We take our profits, we exit, and we look for a re-entry again. Does it make sense so far? All right. So that is the very first bullish, I would say, bonus stock for today that we've shared with our clients in Philip Securities. Link in the chat. Check it out, guys. If you want to get some of those ideas much faster by WhatsApp, like Jared and the rest of our clients over here, click on the link, find out more, and I can't wait to send this to you by WhatsApp. I'll get my team to send, all right? Daily for free at no additional cost. Okay, Ken, so let me pass on the mic to Bervyn to share his bonus stock for today. Bervyn, all yours.
All right, thanks, Joey. Bumitama still definitely looking quite bullish. But if you don't like Bumitama, here's another option for you. All right, okay. We have my bonus stock for today, which is Capitaland. All right, so I think very, very similar to Bumitama, since that first 1GT bullish signal actually came out, we saw prices very swiftly pushed higher. So that is since April up to today, prices are up about 60%. All right, 60%, very, very good gains. I think for such a short period of time, it's less than a year, and it's already moved about 60%. I think it's starting to show signs of that continued strength after prices have broken above that $9.50 level. That $9.50 level is where previously we saw a little bit of a retracement, slight retracement close to it right here in October. Prices tested or pulled back towards that $9 psychological level. And I think as of last Friday, we started to attempt to break above it. And this week, we have started to trade above that 950 level. So I think these are all good signs alongside the 20 days moving average pointing up, 100 days moving average pointing up, and 200 days moving average pointing up. They are all in the respective orders, all right? So I think so far for Capitaland Corp, I think this year, unlike Sembcorp industry, has proven itself to be able to ride a little bit of the market momentum as well. And right now, I would say that upside has been drawn to about $10 first. The nearer term target, is not talking about it for too far. At least if you are able to cross or hit that $10 psychological level and then break above it, yes, I think definitely that's where a lot more buying interest or a lot more momentum can even build up for Capitaland Corp. So I think right now, if I were to just turn on this trailing support, because I understand that some of you guys are also holding on to Capitaland Corp. I was trying to look for the comments just now, but I was not able to find it. Here we go. We can see that the trailing support is right around that $9 level. Let me just get rid of my circle here. Right around that $9 level. So I think so far, at least as of today, this $9 level looks to be continue to be a very, very key one. So let me just get rid of this one for a moment. Just let me change it to a shorter green line, a temporary support right there. But that trailing support is right around that horizontal support level of $9 as well. So for those of you who have been holding on to Capitaland Corp, you may have bought on the way up, or even may have bought closer to that more recent 1GT bullish signal. You may want to just take note that if prices break below this trailing support, you may want to consider to get out. All right, to get out and then reduce a little bit of exposure first, wait for prices to actually stabilize before getting back in. But as of right now, it looks like the 20 days moving average just continue to go higher, pointing higher, going higher, higher, and higher. So that trailing support, if prices continue to push past that $10 level, will definitely start to follow it to go higher as well. So I think nothing much left to be said about Keppel Corp. Just that if prices break above that $10, let's draw that next target up to 10.50 first. But I would like to see a little bit more meaningful consolidation coming in the nearer term, maybe towards the end of the year first before prices start to push higher. Always better to see a healthy uptrend so it'll be more sustainable as well. So I think just have a alert place above $10 if you are looking to get in on a more aggressive trade. However, if you want to be a little bit more on the conservative side, all right, a little bit more on the conservative side, the closer entry will be close to that 950 level. However, this support hasn't been tested much just yet. So I think a stronger entry or a more or safer entry will be very close to that $9 to maybe about that 920 level for Keppel Corp. So definitely still one on our watch list to continue to look out for. So I'll pass the time now to Z to cover the very last stock for today. Z, please.
All right. Thank you, Bervyn. Okay, so I think Joey shared Bhumitama, Bervyn shared Keppel, and the last one, the bonus stock, right, that I would like to share with you guys today, that would actually be CityDev, right? City Development lah. So CDL, right? Because I think that this stock potentially what we are looking at is actually a reversal in play, right? And also because of the fact that you guys also know that, you know, interest rate, like what Bervyn mentioned earlier on, right? The interest rate environment is getting lower, right? And all these CDL is more of like a debt heavy real estate developer, right? And they are very much like, you know, very highly sensitive to interest rate lah. So definitely lower interest rate will actually benefit companies like that, right? And based on the chart that we are actually looking at right now, right, what we are also seeing is that there is actually a reversal actually playing out, right? If I were to zoom back, you guys can see for yourself, right? This is 2022. This here is 2022. Prices was kind of like just going sideways already, getting a bit weak already, and then prices broke down, right? From 2023 all the way to 2025, it was actually in a very strong downtrend. So stock can be in a downtrend for very long. So that's why we always emphasize, and based on the 1GD framework, we don't want to buy a stock that is in a downtrend, right? Probably you can be stuck holding on to a stock for at least 2 to 3 years if the downtrend is very strong, and that's not what we want, right? We want to buy when the stock is actually trending up and it's in an uptrend. And right now, over here, let me just zoom in. 2025 here, still in a downtrend, but somewhere here, right, this period, June, July, August, is where we started to see more interest returning to the stock, right? And this is also where we started to see more positive confirmation that, hey, you know, the downtrend is no longer down anymore, right? And it's showing some signs of it turning back up. And this is where potentially will actually catch people interest, and price now is at about 742, right, at this point in time. And currently price based on the moving averages, right, is it looking good? I think it's looking good if we just look at the moving averages. Green is up, red is up, blue is up, and it's totally opposite from what we have been seeing from 2023 to 2025 right over here, right? And I haven't even turned on the signals yet. All right. Okay. So maybe let me just turn on the signals very quickly. So now all of us agree that the uptrend definitely still looks intact for this counter, right? And especially so that, you know, the moving averages is pointing up. Plus the red and the blue, right, actually crossed each other somewhere in July here, signaling that the longer term trend has also turned positive, right? Red cross above the blue. That's great, right? That's great. Plus the green is already pointing up, right? So now that I've turned on the 1GT bullish signal, right, what can we see? We can see 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 consecutive bullish signal that is actually still playing out, right? There's no exit yet. And also based on the price action, just on the support and resistance over here, you can see that I've already drawn a support at about the $7, right? $7 would be a psychological support level, right? Previously, August all the way to October, these 2 months, prices was testing this $7 as a what? As a resistance, right? As a resistance level, attempting to break above it, cannot break, right? Selling pressure was there, and this was actually a resistance. Subsequently, it break above the $7. We got another 1GT bullish signal. Selling pressure came in, profit taking happened, price came back down to retest this $7 right over here. You guys can see, right over here, somewhere in mid of October. Buyers came in and they managed to support the prices, and it rebounded, right? It rebounded back up. So I would say $7 definitely will be a very crucial psychological support level to take note. All right, so this is the first level. Okay. And on top of that, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 consecutive 1GT bullish signal, right? So in terms of potential zone of entry that we are looking at, based on the 1GT framework, we want to buy near a support, right? So now that we have identified the support is near the $7, this would be what we call a buy zone or a support zone now, right? Okay, so now that we've established this, what about target? What about resistance? Now price is at 742. So based on this, of course, we know that, price have been in a downtrend for very long, right? Like just now, like what I've mentioned, and definitely price is not at an all-time high now. So when we look back over here, right? Where is the resistance level, right? It will be, I would say, the next upside target that we can look towards will be the $8 really. Why? Because right over here, right, you can see that 2022 all the way to 2023, I think at least a good 6 months or so, right? Price actually tested this level a few times, right over here. Neared it, this part neared it, didn't even touch it, right? But selling pressure came in, and that was when the downtrend actually happened. So I would say $8 based on the previous price action. $8, right, is potentially where we can actually set the next upside target towards. So right over here, $8. Maybe let me just draw it very quickly. This could what we call potentially this is what potentially we can call it as a resistance zone or a sell zone, right? So now that we have established these two, then the next thing is, of course, you need to think about your downside, right? You need to think about your risk management as well, right? And that is where we can actually pull out the trading support, right? So right over here, the trading support, as you can see over here, trading support is also very close to the $7 psychological level, right? And we always mention trading support accounts for stock volatility. It gives it the stock room to breathe. And if it breaks below, not that great, right? That is where we actually want to have some stop loss level in place, right? Like I've mentioned, it could be a couple of bits below, it could be a 1 to 2%, depending on your risk appetite, because everybody is different, right? And then that is it, right? That is it. So if you can see right over here, right, like so, resistance level, this potential entry, potential stop loss. This could be very simply a trading plan already, right? That is what we have, like a very simple trading plan. But of course, do your own due diligence lah, because you have to see whether you even are okay with companies like that, because not everybody are okay with REITs company. All right. So these are some of the levels that perhaps you guys can take note of, especially for CityDev if you guys are interested. And also, right, I think I saw a question by TF, right? Maybe I can also take that question like with this example for CityDev, right? So TF is asking, can I ask, even after a green 1GT bullish signal, when is the latest that you can enter, and how much further, right? And can enter before the day end. Okay, so two questions now, one thing at a time. Okay, so maybe you answer the first question. So you're asking, after a green signal come out, when is the latest that you can enter, right? So let's see, for this CityDev example, first thing we got 4, right? Everybody can see, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 consecutive 1GT bullish signal. The first one came out when? The first one actually came out here, April, right? But if I were to do this back in April, and we got a bullish signal come out, does it mean that you cannot buy, you can buy? What does it mean, right? It means that there's more buying pressure returning. But do we want to actually buy at this point in time? Maybe not, right? Because why? If we see that the trend, right, the longer term trend, it is still down, the red, the blue is still above the red, and still above the green, right? What we want to see is like where, let me give you an example. If you want to see an uptrend, you want to see something like that, green, red, blue. But then now over here, let me zoom in, right over here, right, we see red, blue, red, green. Even though we see a 1GT bullish signal, maybe not, right? Maybe not. We want to see a bit more confirmation, but it doesn't mean that you cannot enter. People can also enter. If they choose to enter, can, but make sure to have your downside in check lah. Make sure to have your stop loss plan in place lah, because at this point in time, can price continue to head lower? Highly possible, right? Because why? The longer term trend is still down, right? The red is still, the blue and the red is still down, right? And it's still in the opposite direction. There's a probability that the stock can continue to go down. So make sure to have your stop loss plan in place. If you were to decide to enter here, it's okay, right? But maybe some people, their risk appetite is not so big. They want to have a bit more confirmation, right? So then prices continue to move, right? Here is where we get a second 1GT bullish signal. At this point in time, maybe some of you like, I missed this already. Maybe here you want to enter. Also can. Nothing wrong, right? Nothing wrong. Plus the fact is that we know that now there is 2 consecutive 1GT bullish signal. If you enter here, same thing. The same thing is you still got to manage your downside risk. Always make sure to have your stop loss plan in place. But at this point in time, at least the red and the blue is not pointing down that much, right? It is kind of like sloping sideways already, right? And then subsequently, we have another 1GT bullish signal coming out here. This is the third one already. Third one, at this point in time, do you think in terms at this level compared to here, compared to here, which one gives you more confidence? I would say the one here, even though yes, the price may be a bit more expensive, right? But it gives you a bit more confidence because why? The short term, right? The green, sorry, let me turn off these first. The green line actually crossed above both the longer term moving average, and we got 3 consecutive 1 GT bullish signal. Of course, here maybe a bit more expensive, right, compared to like $4 over here, right? But here gives you a bit more confidence already, right? Definitely a bit more confidence, and you got 3 consecutive 1 GT bullish signal, right? And does it mean that if you enter here is wrong? No, you can still enter here, but same thing, always have a stop loss plan in place, right? And if prices continue to head up right over here, right, this is where we also get another confirmation that the longer term trend is intact, right? The red and blue has crossed above each other, right? So to answer TF question, right? TF question, you say after 1 GT signal come out, right? When is the latest that you can actually enter? It doesn't mean that, right over here, right? Like maybe, for example, maybe you enter like somewhere around this $6, right? Maybe this $6 we can see is a support level, right? If you enter near this $6, is it too late? Not exactly, because you see where is price at right now, right? It's not too late, right? Because the key thing over here is that we want to have as many confirmation as possible so that we can get a higher probability winning trade, right? Not just because when we see, suddenly got 1 GT bullish signal, okay, I just buy without thinking about my trading plan, right? So the key thing here is to, even though right over here, let's say you buy somewhere near the $6 support level, we got a 20 days moving average pointing up. The green and the blue, the red and the blue line is also pointing up. We got 3 consecutive 1 GT bullish signal. The last one actually came out in July. Is it too late? No, it's not. I wouldn't say it's too late, right? I wouldn't say it's too late because we got to look at the entire picture. We got to look at it in the entire context. Okay, so I hope that answer your first question. And the second question is, can I enter before the day end? So I believe you're asking if, let's say, this, for example, we use this bullish signal over here, right? If let's say on this day, you are saying that before the day end, right, you want to enter, can. I mean, but the thing is that the day before the day end, I don't know whether the bullish signal will actually stay there until the day end or not. We want to make sure that the day end already, and then the bullish signal or the bearish signal is there. Then we have another layer of confirmation, because that would know that, the bullish signal is there to stay, right? Because when it's trading and it's moving throughout the trading day, right, prices can go up and down. The signals can come on and turn off. It can turn on and turn off whenever it meets the criteria, right? So usually what we always do is to base it off, like, after the day close, right? Then we get another layer of confirmation that the signals really will stay there. Okay, so I hope that gives you a better picture and answer your questions in terms of, number one, the 1 GT bullish signal. When is it the latest that you can enter? It's not too late, right? Even though you see right over here, signal came out in July. Even if you enter somewhere in July right over here, right, it's not too late, right? Even though it has been some time already. And the second thing is, we always want to wait for more confirmation. That's the key thing, right? Higher probability winning trade, and that is what we want to look out for. And that is just part of it only. I think we have, there's so many more things to talk about when it comes to the 1 GT 7-point checklist. And that is where I think you guys, if you guys are really interested in it, right, you can actually attend the last webinar by Joey at the end of, no, not at the end, I think start of November, 4th of November, right? That will be the last webinar that Joey will be having. And that's where you can really, really find out more about, all of these things that I've just covered. I just barely scraped the surface. And there's so many more things, like about position sizing, risk management, and things like that. So if you guys want to find out more, definitely register for the upcoming webinar. Okay? Yeah, so sorry, I think I digress a bit too much and talk a bit too much, but yeah, this is the bonus stock that I want to share with you guys, and I'll pass the time back over to Joey to actually close off today's session.
All right, thank you so much. Right, great analysis by Z, and also I think it's a very good question that we do get quite often as well by TF, right? TF. I think what Z has mentioned perfectly makes sense, right? Exactly what I want to say, but good that Z have tackled it, all right? And I think it's true, right? It doesn't mean, just to add on from it, right? It doesn't mean that you see a bullish signal means you anyhow just go and buy, right? Whether they end or they whatever, right? No, right? When we get the bullish signal, doesn't mean like, or when is the latest that you can enter, or bullish signal by tomorrow must confirm buy, by next week must confirm buy. No, all right, it doesn't matter, right? It's not based on the time, kind of like to buy by when and when. No, right? It's based on a 7-step checklist, right? So when we get a bullish signal, and then next day I see another thing, next day I see another thing, all right? I need 4 out of 7 confirmation, right? It's a 7-step checklist that we have. As I said, today you don't have time to really dive in depth into it, but what you can do is to attend a free webinar. In fact, let me just go ahead to share with you guys the page again, right? Just click on the link in the chat. It's already in the chat. Come to this page. It's the final last webinar for this year, 4th of November, next Tuesday, 7:30 p.m., maybe all the way to 9:30, 10 p.m. All right, 2.5 hours. We're still there. All right, and that's where I will share with you guys about the entire checklist. We break it all down. I think that's where I think you get much more clarity, right? But today we do have time to cover the whole strategy. It will probably take a few hours. Like, it's just pretty much going through your stocks, right? So link in the chat. Hope you guys learned something today. All right, and I believe we have come to the end of today's session. Let me do a quick recap of the 3 bonus stock that we've shared today, right? The very first stock that I shared, Bumi, Tama, Agri. Bervyn covered Keppel, all right? And finally, Z covered this stock called City Development, all right? That will be City Dev. That will be the 3 bonus stock for today. And I believe that is pretty much the end of today's session, all right? So, yep, I think that's it, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Just type the chat, thank you, or something, so that we can acknowledge all of you for just staying with us all the way here. Thank you so much, Eric. TF, thank you so much. Julia, looking forward to the bootcamp. Awesome, right? I'll see you at the bootcamp as well, Julia. All right, awesome, right? That's where we'll pretty much break it down even more, Julia, right? So some of you might be a graduates of mine. You've attended my bootcamp. Some may be attending soon as well. Awesome, right? Let's see. Jason, thank you very much. Thank you, Raju, Dave, Eric, John, Bennett. Thanks a trillion. Awesome. Thank you so much, Wally. Right. So yeah, I believe we have come to the end of today's AMAS session. All right. So thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next Friday for our next Friday weekly AMAS session, and then we'll be going back to the US market. So hope today's Singapore market good for you guys. Take note of some of the stocks we talk about. All right. The bonus stock. All right. Those stocks which is not bonus but also not too bad one. Take a look at it as well. We talk about it, right? So hopefully you guys learn something, and we'll see you guys. All right. Go, Anthony. Thank you. Bervyn, is there anything to add before we end?
Yeah. So okay. So some of you have already ordered the book, right, previously. So I think you can look forward to the book arriving. We are trying to mail it out as quickly as possible. So if you want to look out for it, I think it'll be in your mail maybe within like the 5 to 10 working days. So just keep a lookout for it. All right.
Yep. Definitely, right? So, last Saturday, for those of you who didn't join us, basically we did a live book launch for 6 hours, 1 good trend secrets. And we were kind of like sold out. I've just placed the link in the chat, right? Check it out, guys. That's a link to, in case you have not yet got the book, it is sold out. So you can't get it, right? But we could put you on the wait list. Maybe next 1 or 2 months when we get to get more supply, that's where we'll let you know as well, right? So the link is right in the chat. If you've got the book, well, thanks for your patience. The next maybe 1-2 weeks time, we're working on a few hundred orders, a few hundred packing, signing, putting inside the envelope. A lot of things are right. So you'll get your books soon. You'll get back soon, right? Okay, Ken. So thank you so much, guys. Have a good weekend. Thank you for joining us in our Friday AMAS session.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. Thank you. Bye-bye.